and Jesse and everybody else thinks. Like, he's just not. I don't know why it bothers you guys so much. Is it because you love Greg Olsen? But he did a fine. He was fine.
He was fine.
He wasn't god awful.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Did you read that awful announcing story I sent you?
Yeah. There's plenty of awful announcing that I think you're not going to like either. So
I understand.
Isn't the gospel of announcing? But
they said the same thing you did if you read it, and that was he was fine. He was fine. You and I don't disagree vehemently very often, but last night we were diametrically opposed on the performance of Tom Brady, who kept calling Patrick Mahomes Patrick like he was his younger brother instead of what normal announcers do, which is call them by their last name. Jaylen Hurts wasn't Jaylen all game. And when the two-time defending Super Bowl champions are trailing, what was it, 27-0, 24-0 at the half, and 34-0 in the third quarter? I don't know about you, but I'm looking for the guy who led the Patriots in Super Bowl 51 to a rally from down 28-3 to win the Super Bowl to deliver more insight. That's my only criticism, is that I didn't think for the GOAT of the NFL quarterbacking history, he delivered a lot of insight. I agree. He was fine. He told me stuff that I already knew, but I expect more. And I meant it when I said it in our text exchange that I learned more listening to you call games with LePay than he gave me last night in the biggest game of the year. I don't think that that's a ridiculous position to hold, to expect at the end of the season, after 20-some games that he's called, that he'd be better than that and better than just as awful announcing, and you agree and I agree that he was just fine. And I don't have strong opinions very often, but I need more from him. I don't think that's unreasonable. And neither does Frank Caliendo.
Yeah, Frank, it's just so hypocritical by you, and that's what bothered me in our little exchange, because just hold up, and then can come keep spouting your hatred at Tom Brady, which I don't
It's not hatred.
Tom's not. No, it is. You said he sucks.
It's not.
And that's fine.
It's not love.
But you can't sit here after all these years and say, well, you have to let Jordan Love grow. Like, you have to let these young players grow. It's Tom Brady's
He's
first
47
season.
years old. He played 21
years in the league. It's his first year in a new job. It's his first year in a new job, Jason. Like, you can't sit here and tell me that he's supposed to be John Madden 30 years
year in
in
a new job.
What?
It was Edgerrin Cooper's first year in a new job. Was he better at the end of the year?
And he had to grow. And he had to grow, and he still isn't a finished product.
At the end of the year, he was pretty darn good, which is what I expect from Tom Brady. That's all.
But he's not. Yeah, he's not an all-pro. So I guess you can't have it both ways. It's easy to blank on Tom Brady. I don't care. Like, you want to blank on Tom Brady, go for it. I don't think it's as big a deal. Like, I just don't. I thought the game stunk. It was a rout. Maybe he didn't think the Chiefs, because they were getting dominated at the line of scrimmage, where his Patriot team didn't. Because you can sit here and say, well, you have to take it one possession at a time. But maybe Tom's analysis was, they can't block these guys. They can't stop this. And until that's the case, there ain't going to be no 28-3. And by the way, there wasn't a 28-3 comeback. It got worse. So Brady could have said, well, this is what you should do. Maybe he's watching the game thinking, oh, they ain't going to do it because they're getting their blanks whooped up front. They can't block a four-man rush.
He didn't say that either.
Listen, Jason, you hate him. I don't care.
I don't
I'm just not going to sit here. I'm not going to sit here and have you just rip him to shreds. I think he was fine. You did, and I disagree. Yeah,
but that doesn't mean I hate him.
You're an idiot. I'm not saying you're an idiot.
No, you're saying I'm a hypocrite. And that
you are being hypocritical.
I hate him.
Yeah, you're being hypocritical. But
I'm not.
It's all right. Like, I'm happy that you have a strong opinion. I just violently disagree with you. That's all.
It's violent, all right, and vehement. Look, we say this about rookie players all the time. By the end of the season, you're no longer a rookie.
They better be better. They're gone. Or Greg Olson's going to take their job. That's what you always say.
That's not what I say. And I don't hate him. I have high expectations for a guy who's the GOAT and got paid $375 million to be the lead announcer on Fox.
Yeah.
I don't think it's unreasonable to have expected more from him. More than fine.
Yeah, you can. I'm not saying you shouldn't.
But then I hate him. To me, especially in a game like that, you need your analyst to be interesting and engaging and entertaining and insightful.
Why?
When it's a game like that. Because it was a dog of a game. It was 34-0. Tell me some good stories from the Super Bowl.
Then.
That was earlier in the day, and I did watch it, and it was outstanding.
Okay.
And kudos to Steve Levy for donating his time, I'm sure, to call the Puppy Bowl. Look,
I got a hunch Steve Levy's getting paid to call the Puppy Bowl.
I'll have to ask Steve Levy the next time he joins us on the program. Look, all I'm saying is that I expected more, and I don't think that that's an unreasonable position. And to compare him to a rookie player in the NFL and make that excuse for him after he's had an entire season of calling games is ridiculous. Evan Williams was better at his job as a rookie. Jaden Reed was better at his job as a rookie than what Tom Brady gave us. Maybe. I'll give you my NFL Plus password, and you listen to it. Just stop and I don't know if you watched the game with friends or you were at a party. I don't know what your situation was, but all the girls got back from Florida. They all went to bed at 4 o'clock because they'd gotten up at 3 a.m. Eastern time to fly back. It was me and the dogs. I watched the game start to finish, and he did not deliver insight. I don't hate him. I think he needs to get a lot better, but I expect a guy who started calling games in week 1 and now is in the Super Bowl to give me more than he gave me when he played in 10 Super Bowls. He did interviews for how many years? Did you see him on Colin Cowherd telling stories? He was great. I don't understand why on the telecasts he's not very good.
Maybe Cowherd should be doing the games. Maybe you're looking at this wrong way. Maybe Burkhardt.
So this is all Kevin Burkhardt's fault.
You watched Cowherd?
It was on social media.
That's the other. Great point, Jesse.
It's a clip on social media.
Somebody else that he hates, he's hate watching. That's what happens when his girls are gone for a week. He starts watching Cowherd.
Skip Bayless.
I'm the only one that sees things on social media now.
He's got Skip.
Who
else? He's breaking down film with Orlovsky.
Here's the deal.
He's doing everything that he's hate watching everything.
Mark. I'm going to call you Mark all show since Tom Brady
what do I
called.
Care? That's my name. Go for it.
Okay, Mark. I will.
Yeah,
Jana.
Fine.
Mark has lost Jana. If Tom Brady, this is from the Carbless Talk and Text line, Liss is more, 844-770-3776. If Tom Brady needs time to grow, then don't put him on the biggest game of the year. Let him grow in games no one wants to watch, and he can earn the right to call the Super Bowl.
That's fair. I'm not going to argue with Jana. That's a fair point.
They're not going to put
the same thing.
They're not going to put Brady on
the
a
same thing with
Bengals-Browns
Jordan Love. Then, hey, we got to hold up. Hey, we got a Super Bowl roster. We got a Super Bowl roster. Jordan Love is our quarterback.
I don't think this is the good comp for you. He sat behind Aaron Rodgers for 3 years.
Go ahead. You finish my point, Jason.
No, I'm sorry. No, go right ahead.
No, you jump in. If you guys want to just keep spitting on stuff, go for it. The bottom line is you have to elevate. Did Tom Brady elevate? I don't know. I don't think he was great, but he's not this god-awful, like he sucks and you're turning the game off because he's on. Like, it's just not.
I think we
put way too much into it. As far as this other stuff goes, you can't sit here as a whatever you want to call yourself, media member, analyst. I'm an analyst. I'm not a media member. I look at things and it's, all right, well, he's not ready. Tom Brady did fine. Tom Brady didn't blank down his leg. The game went off, and I thought, okay, not bad. Is it John Madden? It's not. Is he Chris Collinsworth 25 years in? You ask of players and you ask of fans to let players and coaches grow on the job. You say that all the time. It's their first year. You have to give a little grace. You got to let them grow into it. They're not going to be finished products. Tom Brady. Now, Jana's point's fair, but I don't think you sign and bring Tom Brady in because he's a high-priced free agent. If you're going to do that with a first-round pick, you should sit him. But you don't. And when you do that, you have to think there's going to be a learning curve. And I think Tom Brady got a lot better as the season went. He wasn't good in the beginning. I said that, too. I'm not like some Tom Brady apologist, but he's gotten better. He's gotten a lot better. And I thought last night he was fine. He was not dynamic, but I thought he was fine.
Are you done? I don't know who's in charge of check the tape, the check the tape department, but help me.
That would be me.
Help me out here. Who was it that suggested that Tom Brady, with some flux on the NFL on Fox pregame panel with Jimmy Johnson and Terry Bradshaw, should stop calling games and be on that panel with Gronk?
Yeah, he should. He'd be better in that. I did.
Who was that?
Because I believe he'd be better suited in that Cowherd model. So either Fox has to fire Burkhardt and bring Cowherd in to run the Super Bowl, and then that could be real. That might be better what you're looking for. My point is, he did not take away my enjoyment of watching the game. He didn't ruin it. It wasn't a big deal. Your viewing was ruined because Tom Brady kept calling Mahomes Patrick. It drove you nuts.
It was
sent 100 texts.
Mark.
You sent 100 texts.
Not 100.
All my point was to you is he wasn't that bad. It wasn't torture as you were making it out to be.
How did you watch the game? How did you watch the game?
On TV.
With whom?
I watched it on TV and I listened to Tom Brady.
Thanks for letting me know you weren't at the game.
Well, that's what I did. I didn't watch it on like some. I'm sure there's other illegal streams and stuff. That's how I watched it.
Who were you with?
I was with my family.
How closely would you say you watched the game?
I watched the game every play. I watched the entire game.
This feels like an interrogation.
Yeah. Yeah. What the hell?
Where were you the night of the Super Bowl?
Why don't you just get to the point? What'd you eat? Did you take a dump? Like, what other stuff are you asking here? Like, get to the
Really?
Yeah, I'm curious. Like, what are you trying to get to?
That was true. Because I think if you had it on in the background and you're at a party and you're eating chips and queso and little finger sandwiches, maybe how fine he was doesn't bother you. But if you were locked into the game and watching it and paying attention and listening to him, you would recognize how crummy he was, given the expectation. You always teach us that the expectation game matters. The expectation game for Tom Brady is not the same as the guy doing the sixth best game on Fox on a Sunday in September. It's just not. He wasn't good enough on the biggest stage. That's all. And the fact, Mark, that you are digging your heels in on this, I don't get. Because I don't hate him as a person. I don't hate that he wore a $740,000 watch on the broadcast. He wasn't good enough for the moment. That's all. Will he be better 5 Super Bowls from now? Maybe. Or maybe he's just not very good at this. But the bottom line is you needed something more than fine from a $375 million analyst, and you didn't get it. And yes,
are you paying
it was
him
not as enjoyable.
$375 million? It was fine. The game sucked. You're trying to make it out like there's something else. If the game was entertaining, you wouldn't be saying that. The game wasn't.
No.
And you wanted Bob Uecker, R.I.P., to be doing it, or John Madden, R.I.P., to be doing it. It's not the case. I just think it's everybody's favorite pastime to crush people that are doing that in that job.
Who do I crush in that job? What is my
You don't like Romo either.
Of crushing them?
You don't
That's
like
not
Romo
true
either.
at all. You're making stuff up now, Mark.
I'm not. I think that's you.
Yeah, you don't like Romo either.
I don't know, Mark.
Anyways, listen, man, you have every right, and my whole point on this is you can say Tom Brady sucks as an analyst, and that's fine. Is he the best? Obviously he's not. But your whole viewing can go through our text string last night.
Go right ahead.
It was ruined because you didn't like the fact he was calling him Patrick. It drove you nuts. I don't know why that would bother you so much. I hear Sean Breen on ESPN calling LeBron, and I don't hear you going crazy about it.
I know who Mike
you say
Breen
LeBron
is.
all the time. Giannis, oh my God, I can't possibly listen to so-and-so because he says Giannis the whole time. Why does that bother you? It's just a weird hill for you to get all upset about.
You're right. Clearly, because people call Giannis. Why did he call every player by their first name then? Why did he call Jaylen Hurts
Maybe he's
that? I don't know. I wasn't in his draft class. You ask him.
I'll ask Gina, and she'll tell me there's never been a better time. I'm done with the Tom Brady. Everybody's crushing me on here because I don't think it was that big a deal. I'm going to stand by that. I don't think he's John Madden. He's not Bob Uecker.
He's not even Daryl Johnston.
He's fine.
Moose.
I don't understand your hatred of it. I just don't.
I don't
know how you can let. I don't know how you can let that ruin. You can't let that ruin a Super Bowl, but you did, and that's fine. I'm not going to let you ruin the Pella experience. There's never been a better time to experience Pella in person and to get all of your questions answered. It's coming up this weekend. Visit Pella at the Nari Spring Home Improvement Show, February 14th through the 16th. Get windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month. You can rest easy with Pella's 10-year installation warranty. Book your in-home consultation at the show and receive a complimentary DesignWorks consultation and Pella Care inspection. Visit PellaWI.com today to learn more. Certain restrictions do apply. So here's what I'll tell you. I don't want to get in a fight with Jason about, oh, my God, Tom is calling Patrick Mahomes Patrick, and it drove me nuts. Yeah, he's not the greatest analyst, but it did not. If it ruined your experience, that's on you.
I didn't say
not
it
on
ruined
me. I'm not going to do that anymore. What I am going to tell you, if I may, what I am going to tell you is
tease out instead of what I have planned.
Yes,
Mark, please, Mark,
I am going to
tease us out, Mark,
because Tom didn't get into this last night.
Oh, imagine
the game of football is not complicated, and if you don't believe me, last night was another prime example of why it's not, and what Green Bay needs to do to get to that level was on display last night in New Orleans with Tom Brady analyzing it beautifully. We'll delve into that next.
Mark will explain it on Mark and Wilde.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. All day, every day. The Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you.
First off, there is not one team that's on the fringe that scares me.
800-990-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more. Spending more time at home? Don't forget that 94.5 ESPN's on your smart speaker. Just ask Alexa to open 94.5 ESPN. 94.5 ESPN on Alexa is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
We all experience daily struggles, and with so many concerns to be conscious of, breathing should not be one of them. Mark Tausch here for Advent, and if you're like me and have had snoring issues, sinus problems, or difficulty breathing, then you'll want to meet the team at Advent. The team of Advent specialists have a few simple steps to help evaluate your individual limitations and get you back to breathing well. Since Advent addressed my snoring and nasal breathing issues, I feel great. I've never slept better, and my wife Sarah is incredibly appreciative. The team of Advent specialists listened to my struggles, found the best solution for me, and customized it to my needs. Take my word for it and go to adventknows.com to learn more about simple solutions to snoring, sleep apnea, and nasal breathing problems. And schedule your appointment today, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
AdventKnows.com.
Hey
guys, Josh DiMaggio here. Don't be like me and wait till the last minute. Valentine's Day is almost here. Impress that special someone with a handcrafted bouquet from Flowers for Dreams. Order a bouquet online at flowersfordreams.com or visit their Walker's Point location. Use code ESPN at checkout for 15% off your bouquet, or this year, try something new with tickets to their date night open studio workshop on Friday, February 14th. Every Valentine's bouquet benefits an amazing local Milwaukee charity. That's flowersfordreams.com, code ESPN.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for Kohler Services. Well, if you've been putting off your bath or shower remodel, now is the time to turn to Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get 0 interest financing for 12 months and a free shower door with your Lugstone shower remodel. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
It started with a prediction.
Gonna go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
Steinhaffel's President's Day sale is happening now. Find great deals on amazing bonus buys throughout the entire store. Then take an extra $100 off every $17.99 you spend. Plus, get a $100 MasterCard for every $17.99 you spend. See store for details. Or make your new room more affordable with Steinhaffel's 36-month 0% financing. Get in today because these deals won't last long. Shop in-store or online at steinhaffels.com.
Are you dreaming about summer in your backyard yet? Picture it. Beautiful plants, freshly mowed lawn, crisply edged flower beds, and your grilling dinner out on an incredible back patio. Landworks Wisconsin is ready to plan your green space. Locally owned and operated, Landworks prides themselves on exceptional customer service and a personal approach to all your landscaping needs. Their team of experts will work closely with you, making your property shine all year. Experience the Landworks difference. Visit landworkswisconsin.com. That's landworkswisconsin.com.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Welcome back to Jason and Mark across ESPN Wisconsin.
Hey,
let me know. 3-hour football game.
How did you stay hydrated?
3-hour radio show.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I know you don't drink Coors Light like I do, but you've been drinking a lot of Haterade lately, haven't you?
All right, you can.
Oh, snap.
Got him. That's pretty good. Jesse, you like that one? That was pretty good. Yeah, I got Jesse. Come on in, Jesse. So, Jason, I don't want to continue to relitigate.
I don't either.
Tom Brady, and people can chime in. Our buddy Brad Fulton texted me, and he said he was inundated with people texting him and at his party last night on how good Tom Brady was last night. So, it's a potato deal. A lot of people just expect Tom Brady to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. I didn't expect that. Knowing how he operates, he's an analytical dude. I think he's going to get better. But I don't want to get into that. What I do want to get into, and I want to pay my T's off so you don't keep yelling about Tom. Oh, Patrick.
Just admit, just take the L, Mark, and then let's change the subject.
I ain't taking it. There ain't no L.
Oh, I'm aware that you don't take L's. I get it.
No, I mean, listen, I took an L last week, a big fat L, thanks to Jesse, and he actually did some research and work, which he never does, but he decided to do it
Always got to take a shot when you admit that.
Well, it's true, and you know it's true.
He goes down swinging.
The bottom line last night, and I love it when this reminder keeps slapping people in the face, is that football, for as much as people want to fantasize about fantasy football and all of the other stuff, football is a simple game. win the line of scrimmage on both sides. It's hard to execute, but if you can do that, you're not going to lose many games. And I think you could. It's a good reminder to everybody at high school and college and in the professional ranks that if you can have the greatest quarterback ever, according to some, not Tom Brady, but some others,
Patrick,
if you cannot execute and block people and you can get home with 4 people, the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles did not have to blitz once and were able to do that to the supposed greatest quarterback of all time, that is how you win football games. And Philly has been the best roster in football. There were questions about coaching. There was questions about all this other stuff. They won the Super Bowl this year because they were the most physical football team on both sides of the line of scrimmage in more games than they weren't. And when you do that consistently, you're going to give yourself chances to win over and over. And it is another reminder when people are always, oh, draft a wideout. Oh, get this guy. Oh, bring in so-and-so. Well, you know what? Big bodies win. And I think last night should be a great reminder when the draft comes to Green Bay and when free agency starts, think there. If you win there, you win in February. If you don't, you end up heading out of town early. And that should be at the – I heard Louis Riddick, I think, on Get Up this morning, and he said, you know what? He goes down to the Senior Bowl every year, goes to the Combine. He said there is never a bigger group of scouts, et cetera, that will be located around one-on-one pass pro and the 9-on-7 inside run period where you get to see who can move people, who can stop people, who can do this. And that will always be the crux of how you win in the NFL, period, fin. Thank you.
That was some insight from Mark, who was way better than Tom, talking about Patrick last night. Now, while I was watching the game, listening to Tom talk about Patrick and arguing with Mark.
And Hurts.
Put together Hurts, yes. Not Jaylen. Not Jaylen. He's Hurts. But Patrick's Patrick. I put together a list while I was watching the game of the lessons that I think the Packers could take from this game. So I'm glad that Mark teased that heading out of our argument about Tom Brady, which he won't admit. He just wasn't good enough for the moment. But that's fine. We have moved on. But I want to go through my 5-item list.
I can't believe a 52-year-old dude would let Tom Brady ruin his Super Bowl experience. It just amazes me.
I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed Kendrick Lamar more than I expected.
Boy, it certainly sounds like it. I'll just go through a little taste. And
read them. Yep. Go ahead.
Patrick. Why is he? And in just a bright red emoji face. Why does he keep calling him Patrick? But you enjoyed the heck out of that game.
Face.
Yeah. Jesse, did you, in the text strings last night, did you sense that Jason was loving watching that game? Is that what you got from that?
I did not. It seemed like he was not enjoying his time watching the game.
Okay. Thank you. That's all.
So, for the sake of accuracy,
52-year-old dude just caught up on some texts from the past, man. A 52-year-old
dude 46-year-old
Tom Brady ruin his Super Bowl experience.
Unable to give information accurately. First of all, the angry emoji face was from Jesse, who got hosed out of the shortest field goal on Prize Picks because of a penalty.
37-6, and we do a 5-yard false start to take away the shortest made field goal. Come on, Philadelphia.
Lead Saquon into the end zone, Jaylen, and we got a tutter, and I win all my Prize Picks.
Tough night.
But I didn't. It didn't happen, and kind of irritated about that, too.
Yeah, you don't say. As I pointed out, we're not going to read texts on the air, but I'm going to read the highlights. You were right. Okay. You said it from the very beginning. The problem is, I don't know if you watched the rest of the game, because you were right. He criticized the penalty call on the offensive pass interference on the opening drive, and I thought the same thing you did, which was, I didn't think that the Raiders' partial owner was able to do that on the telecasts. Which I'm curious now, is the NFL going to enforce that rule? Because he definitely, I think his critique was, I didn't like that call.
Wow. You hate Tom Brady.
No,
Wow.
I hate that the NFL says that there's a rule and then is putting him in a position. He doesn't even go to the production meetings because of that rule.
Yeah.
Then change the rule if you're going to have him as your lead analyst on one of your partners. Also, I just wanted to know, no, you know what? Forget it. I'm not doing this, Mark. I want to get to the things that I took away that the Packers can apply.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, well, we'll do that next. Mark, it's Wilde and Tausch.
On the air, on demand.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcast for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center is hosting another Scramble tournament with $1,000 in cash prizes available. Hey, ESPN Milwaukee, this is Gary Ellerson, and Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center invites you to play in a two-man scramble at TPC Scottsdale, all from their comfortable golf simulators. Grab a friend and sign up today at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com. The tournament costs $120 per pairing and is happening now through February 28th. Your winter chance to play TPC Scottsdale awaits. WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Dell Technologies is celebrating with anniversary savings on their most popular tech. For a limited time only, save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 16, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors and more. Plus, curate your dream setup with great deals on select monitors, mice, and more must-have electronics and accessories. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to leading-edge technology to match your forward-thinking spirit and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
With your Saganiac Planning Marquette recap, I'm Will Summers. The Golden Eagles flocked to Omaha on Saturday for another Big East battle, this time against Creighton. While trailing for a majority of the first half, a Cam Jones buzzer beater gave Marquette life heading into the second half.
2-1, Cam Jones gets it off.
There it is.
Oh, baby.
That's beautiful.
A strong comeback led by Jones as well as senior David Joplin gave the Golden Eagles the lead late in the game, but it would not be enough as Marquette fell 77-69. Marquette looks to get back in the win column at home against DePaul on Tuesday.
Help protect your team with slam dunk coverage. Saganiac Planning can coach you on ways to save money on medical and specialty plans through United Healthcare, one of the largest provider networks in Wisconsin. Call John Saganiac Jr. 262-783-6161. 262-783-6161. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service. Insurance coverage provided by or through United Healthcare Insurance Company or its affiliates. Administrative services provided by United Healthcare Services Inc. or its affiliates. Health plan coverage provided by or through United Healthcare Wisconsin.
UW Credit Union presents the Student Athlete of the Week, supporting local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. UW Credit Union is here for every you. Learn more at uwcu.org. Here's Ashton Rotman with the UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week.
This week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week is Dominican High School's Aaron Womack III. The senior basketball standout etching his name in state and school record books by passing the 2,000 career point threshold. The 6'6" Womack is racking up the big stat lines this season, including back-to-back games with 96 total points scored. He's averaging over 30 points a game this season, which is of course impressive enough in itself, but he also puts in the work on the boards, averaging 11+ rebounds a game. Womack is hoping to propel Dominican to the state title for the first time in his career. And when it comes to the next level, Womack will be playing Division I basketball next season for Syracuse. Congratulations to this week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week, Aaron Womack from Dominican High School.
Get ready for the grooviest celebration of the year. Join us at American Place Casino for our Woodstock and Wildflowers 2-year anniversary bash on Saturday, February 15th. We're giving away $50,000 in cash and free play with winners drawn every 15 minutes from 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. Participate in our costume drawing for a chance to win $500 in free play. Come celebrate our 2-year anniversary. Don't miss out on all the fun promotions and live entertainment. Peace, love, and big jackpots await. Visit AmericanPlace.com for more details.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
I have my list. Mark and I will go through that in a moment. Some great opinions in the YouTube comments, except from, ironically enough, from Mark. I don't think it's you, though, because you don't know how to log in. Jason is like a 7-year-old girl. I don't find that constructive, Mark, but that's okay if you don't agree with me on Tom Brady. But 7-year-old girl, good one. Way to put me down.
In what ways?
I don't know. You'll have to ask Mark.
Like, I was watching the game with my friends. We were at a big gathering last night. I met my friend's 5-year-old daughter for the first time that, like, she could remember. I met her when she was a baby, but it had been a long time. And we had a good time. We were playing with little ducks and whatnot during the game. It was a good time.
Oh, well, that's nice, Jesse.
Yeah, it was a good time.
What'd you think of how Patrick played? All right, so here's my list.
Play like crap.
That's fair. He was not very good.
Draft Cooper to Gene. Is that the top?
No, but I did get some texts when he had the pick 6 on his birthday, and we will get into him a little bit later in the program because I do not think this is another instance of passing on a player of TJ Watt's caliber, but I knew the minute he crossed the goal line that I would have Packers fans saying that it's Goody's fault for not drafting him, which I think would hold a lot more weight if they hadn't also drafted Evan Williams, who looks like a pretty darn good football player. So we'll get to that.
Has he tweeted, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22? Because that feels like a miss if he didn't.
Maybe he, like some of the fans at the Super Bowl, aren't fans of Taylor Swift, who got booed when she was up on the Jumbotron.
That's why you would, Cooper.
All right, I'd like to get my list, if I may. Do you have some special music for my list?
Even though I got back late from Chicago last night, I did in fact come up with some special music to reveal Jason Wilde's big game takeaway list.
And Jim H. in the Milwaukee YouTube comments, or Madison ones, maybe these are Madison. At some point, are you guys going to do a deep dive NFL draft analysis? Yeah, today's February 10th. The draft is at the end of April, but we'll talk more about the draft as it approaches.
Have you heard our Super Bowl previews, Jim?
Yes. They've been pretty good the last 2 years. Number 5. Run some authentic play action. You saw the dagger touchdown pass and how effective the play action was for the Eagles last night. Now, it helps, and I'll get to one of the other ones a little bit later, it helps to have a really good offensive line playing well. But the fact that they run authentic play action, and Matt LaFleur talked about it at length in his postseason press conference. Well, how do you define play action? I define play action as you pretending to hand the ball to the running back and tricking everyone into thinking he might have the ball and then throwing the ball. That's how I define it. I think that's a reasonable definition. Number 4, make some smart, cheap signings. That is something Goody has done. Now, obviously, it was not smart to extend Devondre Campbell, but one of Goody's strengths as a GM, in my opinion, is finding good bargains. Right? You saw Rasul Douglas have a huge impact. You saw Devondre Campbell have that kind of a year for 1 year. Zach Bond, I don't know if Zach Bond is going to be successful wherever he signs next, if he gets a big contract elsewhere, but he was a game changer. He was like Tramon Williams during your playoff run in 2010 in this playoff run. And he cost them $3.5 million. He had a hell of a postseason. Number 3, have your quarterback run. You saw Jaylen Hurts pull the ball down multiple times. You also saw him run on designed runs. Jaylen Hurts had 72 rushing yards last night. In the entire season, Jordan Love had 83. Now, I understand Jordan Love had multiple lower extremity left leg injuries. So that is part of it. But that needs to be more of your offense. That's where the league is trending. You need to have that be part of your offense. Number 2, protect. You saw the Chiefs unable to do it. This was the best offensive line in football that the Philadelphia Eagles trotted out there, including with 2 guys dealing with one with a back and one with a knee injury. They were the best unit on the field yesterday. And the Packers have had great offensive lines. The 14 group, the 03-04 group. They're going to move on, I think, from their center. Josh Myers is going to get the John Runyon Jr. treatment. Thank you for your service. Enjoy a contract elsewhere. But they need to figure out how to make their offensive line an elite unit. Obviously, everyone wants an elite offensive line. And the Packers have had some. But Zach Tom, by his own admission, did not play at an elite level this year. Talked to him in the locker room at Locker Room Cleanout. I've been saving that story for a little bit later in the offseason. But I think he is still a top-level talent. I don't know what to make of our friend of show, Rasheed Walker, as a left tackle. I don't know how good he is. Is he good enough? I don't know. Mark is the expert on the offensive line play, not me. But they're going to have to figure out what they're doing at center. If they're moving Elton Jenkins and they're going to start Jordan Morgan and Sean Ryan at the 2 guard spots and Zach Tom and Rasheed Walker at the 2 tackle spots, is that an elite offensive line? I'm not sure it is. And finally, what every defense wants to do, but Jeff Hafley definitely wants to do, Tausch.
So Jesse Nelson just put himself in the
well, he's in the picture.
Yeah.
He didn't Photoshop himself.
Rasheed Walker's in that picture.
No, I know he
tailgate
did.
And Elton Jenkins and Ryan Bulaga. And Jesse.
Yeah. And Becca.
Anyway, and finally, number 1, you have to be able to win with 4. We had Chris Canty on last week when he was being fake mooned by Warren Moon. And Mark asked him about how they got pressure with 4 when he was a member of the Giants. You saw it again last night with that group up front for the Eagles. If you can get pressure up front with 4, it gives you so many more options. And the Packers' defensive line with Kenny Clark, LVN, Rashawn Gary, J.J. Enagbare, Preston Smith, who was traded at midseason, wasn't good enough. They fired their defensive line coach. Are they going to add to that position? Are they going to acquire someone? That they were not able to get consistent pressure with their front 4. And the Eagles did, and they won the Super Bowl. That's my list of 5, Mark. What do you think?
Well, your 4th one is just, could it be more? Oh, hey, guys, sign a bunch of studs, a defensive player of the year for $3 million a year. Jason, great idea. That is a great idea. Goody,
I thought Mark would like that I was praising Goody for his previous inexpensive signings.
So I like your list. I think the signing a cheap free agent that's going to be a huge playmaker, no blank, like everybody tries to do that. That's hoping. I think your biggest one on here is the Jordan Love running component. I think that is one of the things, and I do think health had a big part in that. That is something that he has shown, and it puts a ton of pressure on defenses, and we need to make sure we get back to that. As far as the other things go, your list is good. It's also very pommy. It's incredibly pommy. What you're missing on there, they have this great O-line, right? Had they lost last night, you know what the narrative would have been? Saquon Barkley had 25 carries for 58 yards. Is that great? You know what was great? They had a chess move to, I'm going to shut down your best player. I have 2 number 1 receivers that we can lean on and beat your blank. Okay, Kansas City's got a good defense. They had a lot of guys running open, and their offensive line was able to hold up and give a bunch of time because that run game. I would argue Green Bay's run game, the quarterback runs that Jaylen Hurts had, set a tone. That's why I think that should be your number 1 on your list, which is really good. But the other part of this is we need to have a counter. The NFL is about adjustments and being able to – everybody tries to Belichick things. Who's your best? Josh Jacobs. We're going to stop him. Philly didn't stop Josh Jacobs to the same degree. Kansas City never even got started on that. So I think what this tells you is Green Bay, yes, I'm not going to get up here today and say, well, look at how close we were. Did we play Philadelphia as tough as anybody? We did. Did we hand them 4 turnovers and not take it away? We did. And we still, what was the score? 16-10 with 14 minutes to go? So for everybody that thinks that there's this huge chasm, Philly's better. Their roster's better. They executed better. We had them on the ropes, but we were not mature enough yet. I think you should still look at this as, from a Packer fan standpoint, we ain't that far off. But we do have a gap to close, but it's not some monster gulch that is unattainable.
844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. Do you agree with Mark's assessment that they are not that far away after what you watched last night? I think that the things on my list, while some may be obvious, are all attainable for them. I think the smart, cheap signings, which was poo-pooed by some, was also, if I may, I gave you the floor. Stop.
That's true. And I gave you the floor, Jason.
I said I had a list, and I read the list.
And I let you go.
And you still,
I didn't even I didn't interrupt you.
Check the tape.
I know what happened here. Tausch didn't have a good ride to St. Louis, did he?
Oh, no. Do you think this might be Bartsky's fault?
I think it might be Bartsky's fault.
You're going to be very disappointed if that's what you think. Just FYI.
All right. No, I don't want to get sidetracked because then we're going to start talking about Patrick again. The reason smart, cheap signings is in the list is also because I don't think that they necessarily need to break the bank for Myles Garrett to improve their front four and to improve their defense. I would rather have them make some smart, inexpensive signings if I'm a Packers fan than go into salary cap hell by spending big. And as you have pointed out, the triple threat that it would cost them of giving up draft capital in a trade, not having a rookie contract that is much less expensive, and then having to sign Myles Garrett to a big number after trading for him, I don't think that's going to happen. But if you make a couple of sneaky smart signings, which Goody has done before, and which Zach Bond clearly was, then you can improve your defense without breaking the bank. That's why that's on the list. Because, yes, no blank. Finding really good players on cheap contracts is a good thing.
Zach Bond was an outside pass rusher. He was drafted with New Orleans, I do believe. That was the case. Philadelphia brought him in, I think, as a special teamer and kind of that same mold. And Fangio is the one that put him inside. So for all of the, you got to do this, it also comes down to coaching, finding the strengths, and utilizing them. And is that going to be the case? Because you could say, well, bring in Zach Bond. Would Zach Bond have made the same impact with Jeff Hafley as he did with Vic Fangio?
Is Jeff Hafley smart enough to do the kind of things that Vic Fangio does? Because I would argue that for a guy that inherited a bunch of 3-4 players, he did a pretty damn good job of cobbling together a pretty good defense that ran a 4-3. He had a defensive line that couldn't get pressure on their own moms, and with simulated pressures and occasional blitzes, still finished like 7th in the league in sacks.
On their own moms.
Couldn't get, like if your mom is back there, a quarterback, she's kind of slow, not as fast as, say, Patrick might be back there. Couldn't get pressure on her.
Well, I don't know. Did you watch the Texans game? A lot of pressure. How about the Tennessee game? A lot of pressure.
You're right, yeah. Tell me about some of the other games where they had lots of pressure from their front four.
My point is, it's not just about grabbing. It's also having an idea of how you're going to utilize, coach, and demand for what these guys are going to do. Zach Bond had not had the impact until he was put in a system that allowed him to do what he was going to do. Green Bay had Quay, Edger, and Cooper. You think they would have just thrown Zach Bond in the middle? I don't know.
I'm not saying. Well, wait a minute. When did I say they should have signed Zach Bond?
You just said it.
No.
You said find a guy
Have you
that you can get on a cheap.
listening to me? Is that's what happened here? I never said
Jesse,
they should
did you
sign
not think
Zach
that his
Bond.
implication was to sign someone? You said someone like Zach Bond, but Zach. And my question to you was
smart, cheap signings. He's the example.
That was Zach
for
Bond.
them.
You used him as your example
For them,
right?
Not it doesn't say sign Zach Bond. They don't need an inside linebacker. But speaking of making a player better, look at what Quay Walker did in this system compared to the previous system. It looks to me like Jeff Hafley and Anthony Campanile got more out of the guy than they had previously. So the coaching might actually be pretty good. Tell us about American Family Insurance, Mark.
Badger fans, Zach Bond had a pretty good game last night. That doesn't
Packers
mean that's who
should sign
Jason
him.
wants to sign. You're going to be like this today, huh? Badger fans, American Family Insurance wants to give you and a friend a VIP experience at a Badger football or basketball game during the 2025 season. You and a friend, pre-game sideline or courtside passes, tour of the facility, tons of great merch to support your Badgers. Enter today at amfam.com/Badgers. No purchase is necessary. Dream fearlessly, insure carefully.
Talk more about the Super Bowl next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
The great Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Ben Brust here because you need to win the ultimate Valentine's Day prize courtesy of Welke's Milwaukee Florist. To register, go to welkesdatenight.com for your chance to win a bouquet of flowers courtesy of Welke's Milwaukee Florist. On top of that, spend a beautiful night in the city watching Milwaukee basketball take on Miami on February 23rd. Register to win a wonderful Valentine's Day prize courtesy of Welke's Milwaukee Florist. That's welkesdatenight.com. Register now through February 12th.
American Family Insurance is a lot like Captain America. He protects the world.
It's just doing my job.
And we help protect your dreams with amazing auto and home coverage. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com. And see Marvel Studios' Captain America: Brave New World.
Suit up. We need to move.
In theaters February 14th. This film is not yet rated.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Who's looking for a deal? Well, Cousin Subs has a better deal just for you. Cousin's new $10 meal deals are now available online only. Choose between a 7.5-inch ham and provolone, turkey breast, or veggie sub, a bag of chips or regular fry, a regular fountain beverage, and cookie at cousinsubs.com or on the mobile app for just $10. Now that's a better deal. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. Available at participating locations only. Offer subject to change without notice.
When two equally powerful opposing forces meet,
this is one of the best rivalries in the NBA.
Something has to give. These collisions can make entire cities shake. For centuries, the world's leading minds have tried to describe these cataclysmic events.
Do you believe this?
The National Basketball Association calls it Rivals Week. NBA Rivals Week. Heat versus Bucks and Celtics versus Lakers. Thursday from 7:30 Eastern on TNT.
I think one of the things that patients don't realize is that when they get a joint replacement, that's not a lifetime treatment option. And they're probably, if they are a younger patient, signing up for multiple surgeries down the road.
As a physician and medical director for QC Kinetics, Dr. Caravelli's seen a pattern of trending joint pain. Prolonged medication, steroids, then surgery, possibly another surgery.
So a lot of our patients are trying to avoid or put off surgery, and this is the treatment that can help them do that.
QC Kinetics extracts your body's healing substances, concentrates them back into your aching joints to help heal and restore those areas, providing lasting relief.
Oh, I love being able to tell my patients, before we do this surgery, let's try another option. Let's see if this is right for you, because now they might not have to have surgery at all.
Call today for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Love is in the air at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. This February, play to your heart's content in the Love It or Leave It $300,000 game show. Thursday night, you could love your prize or leave it for another. For a chance to cuddle up to thousands in cash and prizes, just play using your rewards card. Get ready to love it or leave it. Only at Potawatomi. Learn more at PaysBig.com. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Do you know or work with kids who have special healthcare needs? Help them live their best lives. Contact Wisconsin Wayfinder Children's Resource Network. Our specialists will connect you with services in your area. Wisconsin Wayfinder is free and confidential. Call 877-947-2929 or visit dhs.wi.gov/WISCWAY. Connect today. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Missed any of the show? Find us on Wisconsin On Demand wherever you get your podcasts. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
What I want.
844-770-3776. That is the carbless talk and text line. Got a couple calls already. We'll get to those momentarily. But be sure to send your text messages in as well. I think Mark is right. I don't think they're far off. I think the things on my list are doable. What do you think? 844-770-3776. That's the carbless talk and text line. List is more. Let's go to the carbless talk portion of the talk and text line. Let's go to Mo in Illinois. Mo, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Honestly, I'm not doing too well, given watching how the Eagles have played and how they continuously get to the big dance. And we're out here in Titletown, supposed to be playing in these games. And year after year, it's just disappointment. We're sitting on our couch and we're watching the Super Bowl when, in actuality, we should be playing in it. I mean,
Why aren't they? Why aren't they playing in the game, in your opinion?
Because Brian Gutekunst, compared to Howie Roseman, has not constructed a roster competent enough to be playing in these big games. He has not surrounded this team with the appropriate pieces to take that next step. And that's why I personally have a lot of resentment towards Goody. I know he made a few splash signings this offseason, and I think he's pretty good at what he does. But I can't help but feel the way a lot of Packers fans feel watching that game yesterday, seeing Cooper DeJean, who literally the entire Packer Twitter and fandom wanted, he gets a pick six, and we're out here wondering, I wonder who Goody drafted in the first round last year. And it's Jordan Morgan, who didn't play any meaningful football for us. Like, the Packers compared to the Eagles, it seems like the Packers draft for potential, and the Eagles draft the studs that are already proven in college. And obviously it has to translate to the next level. But Goody needs to surround this team with better weapons, and that all starts at the wide receiver position. I'm scared. I'm not going to lie. I'm scared we're going to get, instead of Devontae Adams or a big-time wide receiver, we're going to get Diami Brown or something. So I hope he goes and gets the appropriate needs for this team, because I'm getting tired of watching the damn Super Bowl at home When we come from title time, we're supposed to be playing in it.
Thanks for the call, Mo. We appreciate it. I told you that the Cooper DeJean thing was going to be a TJ Watt-esque reaction from Packers fans, and I want to start there in the 10 o'clock hour because he definitely made a big-time play in a big-time game that made a big-time difference at the moment that it occurred, obviously.
Let's poll, because Mo just brought this up. Do we think that the Packers are, how do you want to say this, Jason? You're the wordsmith. Closer? Do you feel closer or further than ever to winning a championship after watching what Philly did?
I like it.
Something of that nature.
Yep. I'll put that together. Right. I do want to delve into this Cooper DeJean thing because the minute he crossed the goal line, I was thinking, all right, here we go. Here we go. Now, again, whether you hold the grudge or not, I was told by people in the scouting department that they did not see a big difference in their scouting. And I believe I said this back in 2017 when this show was still learning like Tom Brady is, that they did not evaluate TJ Watt as being that much better than Vince Beagle. That is a failure of the scouting department because they could not have been more wrong on that. Now, Vince did have injury issues that ended his career early, and he did have production at Wisconsin. But the fact that a defensive player of the year and a guy who's on a Hall of Fame track, just like his older brother, was viewed in the same vein as Vince Beagle, that's not great scouting. And we love Vince Beagle on this show, friend of show. But TJ Watt is a much better NFL player. So if the Packers didn't like Cooper DeJean, that is a failure of their scouting if he turns out to be a really, really good player. I do think it's worth noting that that was his first interception of his rookie season. It came in the Super Bowl on his birthday. Yeah. So I think we can hold off on the Hall of Fame bust for him for a little while. But the fact of the matter is that I knew this was coming. We'll delve into that when we kick off the 10 o'clock hour, which we'll do in 2 minutes. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Come see Pella at the Neary Spring Home Improvement Show February 14th through the 16th. Learn about our incredible design team with an ability to customize windows to match your unique home. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin is now offering windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month. Rest easy with our 10-year installation warranty. Book your in-home consultation at the show and receive a complimentary DesignWorks consultation and a Pella Care inspection. Visit PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply.
Steinhaffel's President's Day sale is happening now. Find great deals on amazing bonus buys throughout the entire store. Then take an extra $100 off every $17.99 you spend. Plus, get a $100 MasterCard for every $17.99 you spend. See store for details. Or make your new room more affordable with Steinhaffel's 36-month 0% financing. Get in today because these deals won't last long. Shop in-store or online at steinhaffels.com.
For your little ones and your biggest joys, for your forever true and your fur kids too. For all the reasons you smile, get covered with dental and vision insurance from Delta Dental of Wisconsin and Delta Vision. Support your overall health so you can be your best for those who matter to you most. Call John Saganiak Jr. John Saganiak Jr., Saganiak Planning, 262-783-6161. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service. The Saganiac Planning Marquette basketball greatest scorers. Career points is nice, but the best way to judge scoring, points per game. Marquette's top 10 points per game. Number 1, Marcus Howard. Then George Thompson, Dwayne Wade, Jim Jones, and Dean Meminger the top 5. Don Kogis, Mike Moran, Bob Wolf, Terry Rand, and Tom Flynn, the rest of the top 10, got to be above 16 per game to make the list. Over 20 points per game for a career, only Marcus Howard and George Thompson.
Gabe Neitzel here. Catch Jen, Gabe, and Chewy morning 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The 10 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch begins now. The Dwellers are having a grand old time. And as Doug points out in the ESPN Madison YouTube comments, a lot of defensive backs look pretty good when your defensive line gets pressure on the quarterback. Yeah, it all works in concert. And this is not a crush Goody for not drafting Cooper DeJean zone on this program today. I don't know what Cooper DeJean's career arc is going to look like. I don't know what Jordan Morgan's career arc is going to look like. Jordan Morgan had this shoulder injury. It started in training camp. He tried to play through it. He ended up eventually having to have surgery for it. But I'm not writing him off in any way, shape, or form. No. He could be a very good offensive lineman for them. I am going to be watching Cooper DeJean, and this was why I brought up the TJ Watt scouting misstep. Just because...
I just want to understand this, because we had this discussion back in 2017-18. TJ Watt, it's because he's a Wisconsin guy. If it was Johnny Johnson from Texas A&M and he's balling out, we had a need at that point. Why is Cooper DeJean going to be like TJ Watt? He didn't go to Wisconsin. We needed a DB, but there are other DBs. What's his name? Quintavion whatever from Mitchell. Philly was there. I think he was picked too, Quinion. Right?
Yeah, so here's why. Because he was the, as Ron Wolf used to like to say, the girl with the curl, which means he was the one that everyone was smitten with. And he certainly was a Big Ten guy that we all saw because we watched Big Ten football around here. But the biggest thing was in every mock draft, and the Packers did have a visit with him, so it's not like we can say they weren't interested at all, but he was the guy, right? You heard Mo in Illinois mention Packers Twitter. And Mo is a loyal listener to the show, and I'm not trashing him. But much like Barry Alvarez doesn't care what Ben Brust thinks,
nope,
Goody.
No, sorry.
Who the hell gives whether Ben Brust is great?
There we go. Thank you.
A little tired today.
It's all right. Much like Barry Alvarez doesn't care what Ben Brust thinks, Goody doesn't care what Packers Twitter thinks. And obviously, he didn't have a first-round grade on Cooper DeJean. And Cooper DeJean went 40th overall. He went early in the second round. So they didn't, just like they didn't like TJ Watt and were wrong, we'll see if they're wrong. But the TJ Watt thing, I will say this, even if TJ Watt went to Eastern Michigan, with what he has now become, we would look at that. Not nearly as intently. So. The guy's been a defensive player of the year. Like, we wouldn't, it's not, let me finish. It's not nearly as intense as it is because he's a Pewaukee guy who played for the Badgers. But you're telling me that when the Packers play the Steelers in Ireland, there wouldn't be, and he has 3 sacks on Jordan Love, no one would mention, even if he'd gone to a different school, that this was a guy the Packers chose Kevin King instead of? I mean, I think people would think that. They were sitting there on the clock.
I think if he went to
Tulane
Tulane and his name was Johnson, nobody would say a word. No, I don't.
Yeah, maybe.
That's just me, though.
Jonah in Port Washington on the carbless talking text line. So do the Packers need to revamp their scouting department then? Because they seem to be missing on a lot of players. I don't know about you. I didn't say they missed on a lot of players. And I think they've had some pretty good drafts lately. But every scouting department misses on players. That's how this works. You don't bat 1,000. But again, I'm not ready to say even that Cooper DeJean was a miss. Let's see what his career looks like. But he had a huge play last night. There are no two ways about that. That was big time on his birthday. And if only Jair Alexander had been scoring on a pick six on his birthday, that would have meant that the Packers were in the Super Bowl, and there would have been lots of excitement about that. But Jair celebrated his birthday elsewhere and not in the Super Bowl. Let's get to another call. 844-770-3776. Let's go out to San Diego and talk to Terry. Terry, good morning. Welcome to Wilde and Tausch. How are you?
Good morning, guys. Oh, I'm doing okay. I have a son who lives in Philly and fortunately doesn't climb poles, so he was able to celebrate a little bit, even though he's a Packer fan at heart. But, hey, Jason, a couple points. I've been listening to you for a lot of years, and I think you got a lot of wisdom. But one of the points, and I've heard it in the context of this potential trade for Myles Garrett. I do follow the Eagles because my son is there, and I noticed that Howie Roseman traded a first-round pick and a third-round pick for starting wide receiver A.J. Brown.
Mm-hmm.
So he also traded a third and a fifth for starting quarterback Darius Slay. He traded a fifth and a sixth for starting safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and he traded a third for a third wide receiver Jahan Dotson before this season, and received a fifth back from Washington as well. Howie Roseman has repeatedly made trades to improve the roster. The Packers haven't traded a round 1 through 6 pick for a player. Has it been since Al Harris?
Yeah, I can't think of one. And Al Harris, I think they gave up a second for.
And so this dovetails into my second point. You've repeatedly said that if you kind of go for it, I don't want to say go all in, but kind of go for it, there's a chance you're going to go down. You're not going to be competitive. And that's what happened in Philly in 2020. They went 4-11-1. But they were able to recover. The Rams, we were told, were going all in when they traded for Stafford and Jalen Ramsey and Von Miller. The Rams went further in the playoffs than the Packers did this year, and they won that Super Bowl in 2021. Mm-hmm. The Packers have been really risk-averse, Jason. They don't trade for players. They don't take risks to put them over the top. And there's a reason that Howie Roseman has been to 3 Super Bowls now in 8 years. He takes risks. He takes big risks with guys like Saquon Barkley. He takes risks on guys like Zach Bond, although I think that's a Vic Fangio praise. But when's the last time the Packers took a risk? I mean, we're going to have the 23rd pick in the draft, as Jordan Love said last week on Radio Row. We're likely to go defense again.
He did say that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, first, Terry, first, let me say this. I agree with you. If you want to win a Super Bowl, you have to be bold, right? We tease Rob Domofsky about not being bold enough. No one is teasing Howie Roseman for not being bold enough. You're right about the trades. I don't think they're going to trade for Myles Garrett, is what I'm saying. But could they trade if for some reason things don't happen in Las Vegas with Max Crosby and they decide to move on from him? Maybe, but the track record that you just described is why I don't think they're going to trade for Myles Garrett. That doesn't mean that I don't think it would be a blockbuster story, and I wouldn't be fascinated if they did it, but I think you're proving the point. What track record is there in Green Bay, Wisconsin, that they go for it like that? The mentality, they have and it was Ted's mentality, and it's Goody's. Because, look, Goody, I understand he's coming off an offseason where he signed 2 big-ticket free agents. But if you look at the body of his work, he's got 2019, and he's got last year with Jacobs and McKinney, but he's more Ted than he is Ron. And so the idea that they're going to do that in this offseason, I would love it. And it would be bold, and you would be right. I'm just saying I don't think they have that willingness. I think their theory is we're going to give ourselves as many bites at the apple every year, and we're going to have that year like 2010 where we catch lightning in a bottle as the 6th seed, and we're going to go win the whole damn thing. We're not going to go all in and go out and make trades and give up draft capital to get guys that we think will put us over the top. That's not how they operate, and I think you just illustrated that.
So I appreciate and thanks for the call. Great question. I just tweeted it because it is a great question. But let's not sit here and act as if Goody is just sitting there. Ted was totally risk averse. And I couldn't spell. I had a hard time figuring out because it's a verse. Right? Or is it a verse? Like singing a verse. I had a hard time figuring I had to Google it.
You spelled it right.
But I feel like it always has said a verse. Don't you think there's a K in a verse?
No, Mark.
Anyways,
no.
That's neither here nor there. I didn't know how to spell it, and I pride myself on enunciating and pronouncing words how they're spelt.
Indeed. Spelled.
Jordan Love being drafted with an MVP quarter, like that was risk averse? Come on. And then making the trade, come on, and trading Devontae Adams, okay, and then getting rid of Aaron Jones and bringing in Josh Jacobs, that's not risk averse? Like, let's stop and act as if we're just going to sit here and we're going to play, we're teetotaling, holding our cards, and we're only going to play, we're not going to ever put money in the pot, we're not going to play hands. This is not like Howie Roseman is more. Sean McVay, yes. Do we need to maybe up it? I actually think it's more on the field that we need to be more risk-taking than what we're doing off, because you saw last night they went for it on 4th down right out of the gates. I think that's more of where we need to be less risk-averse. I don't think Goody, while he's not a riverboat gambler, I don't think he is unwilling to take risks. We've seen it. Now, is it to the degree that others are? No. So I love the question. I think it's a great jumping off point, and it spurs you to think, Howie Roseman, the moves worked. You know when they didn't work? Last year, when they started off 10-0 and filled their britches and got their keisters kicked in the first round of the playoffs, and they had to fire their whole staff, and they talked about firing their coach. So I get it. We're all palmy today. I totally understand that. I just can't sign on with the fact that we don't take risks, because there are risks taken by this organization, but you don't want to sit there and make a living rolling dice. You don't want to be throwing craps thinking that's how I'm going to win a championship. You win a championship by going and grinding. And then when the opportunity comes and the analytics and the numbers favor, that's when you pounce and take your risk.
So I don't want to speak for Terry, but I think what Terry was arguing was that Howie Roseman used his draft picks to acquire players in trades, as opposed to the Goody, which if you think of it as a exchange, Goody, everything's coming in, right? Draft picks are coming in, players are going out, right? Rasul Douglas, Preston Smith, Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams.
All those moves have been right. Right. If you look at it. Right?
Yeah, I'm not debating whether they were right or wrong, and I would argue that the Rasul Douglas one does not get qualified as being right at the time, because he traded him in a year that he ended up going to the playoffs, and he did not believe that they would. But it's all one direction. And Howie Roseman, and the point Terry was making, was he used his draft picks to bring in players, established players, veteran players who had been in the league, and those draft picks were being sent out and players were coming in. Goody does the opposite.
Just remind me, who did they trade draft picks to bring in? What players?
I don't know. He went through the list. You heard him go through the list, right?
Yeah,
A.J. Brown was on the list.
Okay.
Huh?
Yep, that's true.
Well, he
Yeah,
went through
A.J.
like
Brown
4
is a great
different
example.
players. So my point is that I don't know if that's right or wrong. It certainly worked for them in this instance, but the NFL is littered with trades that teams make, giving up draft picks, and they get the guy, and the guy doesn't help them at all. Right? I mean, we saw it with the
also
Bears.
Remind ourselves, because this group doesn't win this championship without Jaylen Carter. Jaylen Carter had some stuff, obviously, that went down at Georgia that had him drop, because talent-wise, he is a beast of a dude.
Yeah.
We saw how strong and how he's just a monster impact player that fell. And
to ninth.
Just like taking Randy Moss. And there are always, everybody wants everything to be dialed up and perfect. Jaylen Carter dropped, and without him, this didn't happen. Philadelphia is not a world champion if they don't draft.
So that's
Jaylen
an
Carter.
example of a risk, right? Taking a guy that was involved
Are
in
the
drag
Packers
racing that left
Do you think
teammates
that's the case,
dead.
Jason? Like Terry, are they too risk averse?
No, I'm not willing to agree with that, because again, they could have taken a chance on trading a second-round pick to for Chase Claypool, and it would have been a spectacular failure. He was bad. The Bears traded, the Steelers traded him, then the Bears got rid of him. I think he's in Buffalo now. Have you heard from him at all?
No, I thought he was in the UFL. I have no idea.
Bottom line is that was a trade that we thought they should make. They needed a wide receiver. That would have been a horrible mistake. So not all of them work out. The Jaylen Carter thing is interesting to me, because Ron Wolf, and look, he drafted one of our favorite guys instead. He drafted Vonnie Holliday, who, by the way, had a 15-year NFL career, and
Great
Mike
career.
Sherman, the general manager, completely screwed it up by paying Cletus Hunt instead of Vonnie, and Cletus Hunt was out of the league 2 years later. But Ron Wolf regretted not having the gumption to take Randy Moss because of the character risks, and he took Vonnie Holliday, who was definitely not a character risk. He was a solid NFL player. But then he watched Randy Moss in 1998 torch him to the degree that he picked 3 straight corners at the top of the 99 draft. So, you got to be willing to take those risks and take on the heat that you get for drafting a guy of questionable character. The Eagles did it, and it paid off big time for them. So I don't know about this. I think they are.
Question, though.
I think they are more risk averse than they are risk taking. But do I think that they are risk averse to a fault? Because that's basically the question. I don't think so. But it's a worthwhile question to discuss, and we can continue the conversation. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. That is the Carbless talk and text line. This is more Wilde and Tausch. Straight ahead. Stick around.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Ben Brust here because you need to win the ultimate Valentine's Day prize courtesy of Welke's Milwaukee Florist. To register, go to welkesdatenight.com for your chance to win a bouquet of flowers courtesy of Welke's Milwaukee Florist. On top of that, spend a beautiful night in the city watching Milwaukee basketball take on Miami on February 23rd. Register to win a wonderful Valentine's Day prize courtesy of Welke's Milwaukee Florist. That's welkesdatenight.com. Register now through February 12th.
This is Kevin Moret from Mentality. Every day is a silent competition, and with testosterone dropping 1% annually, you're fighting an uphill battle. Your colleagues notice when you lose your edge, your partner senses when your confidence wavers, and without addressing low T, you're set up to fail. No willpower can overcome this hormonal deficit. Mentality's FDA-approved treatments have shown a 30% increase in testosterone levels. Don't let low T define you. Reclaim your power at mentalityhealth.com/radio. That's mentalityhealth.com/radio.
Ready to tackle your home improvement project this winter? Exterior Pros and Baths is here to help you score big with quality home exterior and shower upgrades. As a 5-time President's Club Award winner, Exterior Pros is not playing around. With flexible financing, it's never been easier to invest in your home without breaking the bank. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation today.
Mornings can start feeling the same. Wake up, brush teeth, go to work. But with breakfast from Wendy's, it's like, wake up, brush teeth, Baconate with a breakfast Baconator. Roll with the sausage breakfast burrito. Buddy it up with a honey buddy. Or get seasoned with seasoned potatoes. And then go to work. Sorry. When you're ready for a fresh wake-up call, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it. But not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
American Family Insurance is a lot like Captain America. He protects the world.
It's just doing my job.
And we help protect your dreams with amazing auto and home coverage. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com. And see Marvel Studios' Captain America: Brave New World.
Suit up. We need to move.
In theaters February 14th. This film is not yet rated.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
UW Credit Union presents the Student Athlete of the Week, supporting local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. UW Credit Union is here for every you. Learn more at uwcu.org. Here's Ashton Rotman with the UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week.
This week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week is Dominican High School's Aaron Womack III. The senior basketball standout etching his name in state and school record books by passing the 2,000 career point threshold. The 6'6" Womack is racking up the big stat lines this season, including back-to-back games with 96 total points scored. He's averaging over 30 points a game this season, which is of course impressive enough in itself, but he also puts in the work on the boards, averaging 11+ rebounds a game. Womack is hoping to propel Dominican to the state title for the first time in his career. And when it comes to the next level, Womack will be playing Division I basketball next season for Syracuse. Congratulations to this week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week, Aaron Womack from Dominican High School.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
The calls are flying in. Thanks to Terry in San Diego.
That was a great call by Terry. Loves Jason, which is great. Doesn't think Tom. I'm not going to speak on if he loves you.
He never
got an idea.
even mentioned
no,
Tom. Mark.
He didn't.
Why would you even? I thought we had put that in our past, buddy.
We did. I'm trying to reset, Jason. I'm trying to reset kind of where we're at. And the risk-averse thing is super interesting to me. I love it when a caller or a fan or a texter or a dweller or whoever throws something that gets my mind racing. My mind is in that place where, are we too risk averse? Are we so concerned that things could go? Because there is no doubt. My entire time in Green Bay, all I heard people was Packer way. Like, the Packer way is real, okay? And Packer people, which means guys that are going to work their keisters off, do their best, and we just want to give ourselves, to steal a Chiliism, a chance to have a chance.
Yeah.
And what that means is you're not going to bottom out or have a really blech year. Very rarely. And you want to keep chopping away, and eventually you're going to get that right strike, and you're going to get some timber. You're going to get a little bit of that good stuff. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes the axe isn't strong enough and you can't finish, but you just keep chopping. The problem is you don't get to start with it down hollowed out to the core. Just like Mount Everest, you got to reset, you got to resharpen, and you got to get back to chopping again. Today's the new day of chopping. Everybody now, it's, okay, great, Philly, congratulations. Where's my axe? I'm putting my flannel on. I'm going back out to get some timber. That's where we're at. And I think the Packers are always, is it to the point where we're looking at it like, I don't want to go where we barely get any wood off that tree and we ain't going to get any harvest. That's, I think, where we're at. How we go about doing that, how we approach it. Are we ever saying, you know what, man, I'm going out and getting me a big old chainsaw. It's going to rip this bad boy down. And you know what? It could stall, and we could have all kinds of problems, but there's a repair shop. We can get it. I don't know how our mindset is when it comes to chopping down this championship tree.
All right, so I want to take a break and then get to calls. I do want to know where you land on this. Do you think?
Well, what did you think
risky?
of my analogy there? Did you think that was pretty good?
I thought it was.
You know,
great.
I like positive affirmation. Thank you.
I know you do.
Use of a
Especially when you call me
chainsaw,
Mark.
very visual with the chainsaw. Appreciate that. Painting a picture.
Dazzling.
Well, I like painting a picture, Jesse.
Dazzling
I like
detail,
painting a
yeah.
picture.
It was you did sidetrack if we're evaluating. You did sidetrack into the Mount Everest, which I did hear Tom talk about. That he did
Why
not
he's
use
such a
Mount
good
Everest
analyst.
specifically and didn't deliver it as well as you did, and it didn't have the graphics from Greg, who photoshopped you digging up all the empty Coors Light boxes on Mount Everest. But, it's...
The question is, if you're chopping down one of those big trees, and of course legally and all that other stuff, disclaimer, do you want to have a two-person where you and the it's got to be kind of mesmerizing, where it's where it's in and out and boom, bada boom, or do you want to just be like old George Washington chopping on that apple tree or cherry tree?
Cherry, yeah.
What are you trying to? How would you want the Packers to go about chopping down this championship tree?
I think they should use is it beavers that chew up the tree and then it falls down?
Beavers will chew on a tree.
Beavers.
Yeah.
I think they should just use a legion of beavers to take the trees down.
That's kind of what we do, and it seems like our buddy out in San Diego is thinking,
Terry,
hey, bring out a blanket chainsaw. Why do we got to keep nibbling with little teeth? Like, at least let's get a two-pronged saw. I think you guys can realize it's like Jesse and I'm on one side, he's on the other, and it's zip, zip, zip. You guys, I want to make sure you're understanding what I'm saying. Zip, you get Jordan and Goody are out there for a couple days, and you get Mark Murphy and Russ Ball. They got to get out there. They're pulling on it.
How much?
And
you think
it's
they're
a constant.
done? What's their best team to work at two-man saw?
Oh, Kenny Clark's got to be involved in that, right? He's got to.
Start nicknaming him the Lumberjack. Sure, yeah, Kenny for sure.
Okay.
We'll put together our best two-man saw teams that the Packers have to chop down trees.
Get Sheed on the saw.
Would be good. Yeah.
Jesse's just looking for a reain to put
hopefully
up that
Jordan
picture
Morgan's
again.
shoulder's in a better spot, so he can get out there, because that's a lot of strain on a shoulder now. Yeah.
I think Josh Jacobs is a pretty good saw man, I'm guessing, as well.
Yeah.
And once they're done chopping trees, they can all go get a for real shake and maybe a dunker over at Quick Trip.
Oh, is that what we're doing? We're doing a little Quick Trip action. Okay. I love it. You know I love it. Life is busy. Quick Trip gets it, whether you're craving that fresh coffee or a tasty bakery treat or firewood. Then you can get firewood in those little bundles out at Quick Trip, too. They got everything. They want to make your life easier and better. Clean restrooms to fresh groceries and everything in between. Quick Trip's got you covered. Plus ATMs and free air and appetizers. Oh, they got the crispy tornadoes. We grabbed cheese curds from there. Cheese curds, phenomenal. Mozzie sticks.
Oh, they do have good mozzie sticks. Oh, yeah.
They got great little mozzie sticks. Well, we were in St. Louis. There was no Quick Trip, but we...
Did you drive from Wisconsin or did you drive from somewhere else?
You think we're going to make a stop when we left Wisconsin to go to St. Louis?
Well, Bartsky was driving, so I thought maybe the rules...
Do you not know how this rolls? Today's Monday, $6.99 for one of those full, succulent rotisserie chickens. Oh, you know that's the best. On Wednesdays, you get the $9.99 tenders or bone-in chicken. You can get the Quick Rear white bread, 99 cents. Oranges and apples and pears, oh my, 3 for $1.49. It's all right there. Take advantage of everything that Quick Trip has to offer. Use their rewards app, and you can order ahead or go for pickup or curbside delivery. Quick Trip, we'll see you next time.
We'll get to your calls next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcasts for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman, here to tell you about my friends at Bank 5-9. Everywhere I go throughout the area, I see Bank 5-9, and it's no wonder why. Not only do they have 14 branch locations, but their employees spend nearly 9,000 hours each year volunteering in the communities that they serve. That's on top of the financial support that they provide to several hundred nonprofits right here in southeastern Wisconsin. If you're looking for a true local community bank, check them out today at bank59.com. Member FDIC.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tausch here for Kohler Services. Well, if you've been putting off your bath or shower remodel, now is the time to turn to Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get 0 interest financing for 12 months and a free shower door with your Lugstone shower remodel. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Join the Milwaukee Bucks as the team celebrates historically black colleges and universities with HBCU Night, presented by Johnson Controls on February 20th. Enjoy pregame, halftime, and postgame events that honor the legacy and excellence of historically black colleges and universities and those who attended them. For more information and to purchase a ticket package, visit bucks.com/impact. That's bucks.com/impact.
Hi, this is Michelle Voskel, CPA and team member at the Neal Group. I have a question for you business owners. How do your books look? Are they ready for your tax return to be prepared? Did you and your accountant talk during the year and develop a plan to minimize your tax bill? Or does this sound like you? You can never get a hold of your CPA. Phone calls are not returned and questions are never answered. Your books are a mess and the bank account hasn't been reconciled since last year. You don't get any advice to help you run your business. That's not the case with the Neal Group. We are advocates and partners with our clients to help them grow. We like to work with you throughout the year to keep your books up to date so you run your business profitably. Are you ready to grow your business, improve cash flow, have less stress, and live a better life? We can help. Call us at 414-325-2040 or visit nealgroup.net to book a meeting and see if we can help. The first meeting is free. Don't wait, do it now. That's 414-325-2040 or nealgroup.net.
What makes the Pell experience so exceptional, something you won't find anywhere else? Come see us at the NARI Spring Home Improvement Show, February 14th through the 16th. There's never been a better time to experience Pell in person and get all your questions answered. Find out why Pella has the best wood warranty in the industry. Learn about our incredible design team with an ability to customize windows to match your unique home, and how our professional installers work fast and year-round. The timing is impeccable. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin is now offering windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month. You also have no worries thanks to Pella's 10-year installation warranty. Book your in-home consultation at the show and receive a complimentary DesignWorks consultation and Pella Care inspection. That's February 14th through the 16th at the Neary Spring Home Improvement Show. We'd love to see you there. Get windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month at PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply.
Love is in the air at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. This February, play to your heart's content in the Love It or Leave It $300,000 game show. Thursday night, you could love your prize or leave it for another. For a chance to cuddle up to thousands in cash and prizes, just play using your rewards card. Get ready to love it or leave it. Only at Potawatomi. Learn more at PaysBig.com. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Eight 844-770-3776. I don't know who Mike Thomas is, but Tausch has decided to let me know that he has a Tom Brady take. So we'll have to get
our
back
old
to him.
teammate? Our old teammate that ran the Chicago market was one of the best market managers in the country?
Yeah, I didn't click. I didn't
Oh.
click on the tweet because all the information was there.
Oh,
but it looks like he's at WEEI, which is the big dog in Boston, if I recall correctly. So, interesting take. I'll have to read what he posted there.
Mike Thomas from Boston.
Let's go to Spencer in Minnesota instead. Spencer, good morning. Thanks for holding on, buddy. What do you got?
Yeah, so you guys are talking, the Packers being risk adverse, mostly focusing on Goody and putting a roster together. Something that I've thought of, over the last 5-6 years is just how we've been a little more conservative on the coaching staff and maybe even putting a coaching staff together. And this just kind of started back in the beginning of the whole Mahomes run that he's been on. 2019 in the AFC Championship game, the Chiefs lose to the Patriots. And they go on that offseason and fire their defensive coordinator, hire Spags, and they've been on this run ever since. Year after that, or a couple years later, Tampa Bay, they hired Todd Bowles, his second year as their DC. I mean, he was kind of proven at that point too, but they go on to win the Super Bowl. The Rams, 2022, that was with first year under defensive coordinator Raheem Morris, won the Super Bowl. Chiefs again win twice after that with Spags as their DC, but obviously a really good offensive coach in Andy Reid as well. And then this year, the Eagles win the Super Bowl after firing both their offensive and defensive coordinator the previous year. And it seems like maybe not just when we're on these runs, but Matt LaFleur just doesn't want to make these big splash moves with his coaching staff all that much. Obviously, the best one we can look at is just last year with Jeff Hafley, who none of us really knew anything about. But you look back to just keeping Joe Barry around for as long as we did too, which just felt absurd at the time. And it seems like he's just been kind of fine with keeping guys on staff for one reason or another. I mean, even Jason Rebrovich, when we kept him around with Hafley, and I think when you guys asked him in that presser, hey, why, you kept Jason around, why was that? And Matt was like, oh, he's got really good energy. And it's like you kept him around because he has good energy. The year before that, remember, you guys asked, hey, what's the plan with Quay Walker this year? And Jason Rebrovich said yes. At first we thought, oh, they have all these plans made up for him that they don't want to disclose. But no, I just don't think Jason actually had much of a plan for Quay Walker. So I just wish we would take some more shots with putting together the coaching staff And, I mean, I complained about one Rich Bisaccia earlier this year, too. But, Jason, you mentioned a couple of weeks ago how close Rich Bisaccia is with Joe Barry. And Rich being the assistant head coach, since he signed on with the Packers pretty much. If Rich wasn't our special teams coordinator, does Joe Barry come back in 2023? Like, I don't know who we could have hired then instead. Well, actually, I do know we could have hired Brian Flores. I don't know what kind of relationship he has with LaFleur. But, I mean, hell, it's so easy to turn a team around nowadays. Maybe we could have went on a run in 2023 if we were just a little less risk-adverse when it came to putting together a coaching staff.
So this is interesting because, Spencer, you're not a knee-jerk type guy. You've been calling the show for a long time. I am not, and thanks for the call. Tausch and I will discuss it here. I'm not I don't call for coaches' jobs very often. And I've been a defender.
You called for some. You have.
I didn't say that I've never called for a coach's job. I said I don't do it very often. And other than Joe Barry, I'm not sure in the last 5 years I've called for anyone's job. But Joe Barry,
special teams coordinator.
I definitely did.
Called for his job.
Who was the dude before Bisaccia? Because that did not go well.
Drayton?
Yeah, Maurice Drayton. And before him, Sean
his.
Menenga.
Yeah. He called for his, too, I think.
I think I called for Sean Menenga, not for Maurice Drayton. But
it might have been me.
We're getting bogged down here after I said
details.
that I don't call for many coaches' jobs.
Well, and we just named 3 in the last 4 years.
2.
Your point's
But
taken.
yes, 2 of the last 6. But be that as it may,
we checked the tape. And
hey,
that's
Mark,
what it came
just
back to.
let's get back on focus here.
And that dude they fired this year.
Yeah, I didn't call for Jason Rebrovich's job, but
you're not mad about it.
Whoa, Nelly!
How was? Can we get Bartsky to call? I really want to know how the drive was to and from St. Louis.
Had some bad gooey butter cake or something down there.
Look, I don't think
I don't. You guys always do this.
I don't think they should get rid of Rich Bisaccia. There are Packers fans who do. I think there's quite a few. Spencer was one of them. I think they upgraded with some help from adding Xavier McKinney with their defensive coordinator over Joe Barry. I never thought Joe Barry was a good hire. You're not going to convince me otherwise. I think Jeff Hafley, not just because we joke about my hoodies, is a good football coach. And I think that's been proven out in his first year and the fact that he got a head coaching interview, although the Jets interviewed a lot of people for that job. I don't know if getting a reputation as the guy who fires coach after coach after coach is a way you want to go either. So somewhere in between maybe is where Matt LaFleur should be. Like I've got Michael in the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube chat. He thinks that they need to fire Bisaccia and Steno. Now, again, Steno got 2 other offensive coordinator interviews where he could have been the play caller, and he got a head coaching interview with the Bears. I have a hard time saying their offensive struggles are because Steno's not a good enough coach. He doesn't call the plays. It's not his offense.
What does he actually do?
The same thing that Nathaniel Hackett did, but he doesn't reference Gold Member and doesn't call it the Gold Zone, so he doesn't get as much attention. And you saw what he did once he got his opportunities elsewhere without Aaron Rodgers. Oh, and then with Aaron Rodgers. I just, Tausch, I don't know if one of the issues facing the Packers is they're not willing to take the risk of firing more coaches, as Spencer kind of suggested. I don't think I can get on board with that.
I won't join that club either. I think there is going to be a long, hard look at analytics, 4th down, and how aggressive I don't actually have a problem with Matt LaFleur's. I think his usage of timeouts and how aggressive he is at the end of halves is really good. I think that's one of his strengths. But I do think he has an overhaul of kind of some of the things I was very critical about him. I would bet that there is going to be some work done in that regard this offseason. I would bet that he is going to work hard on himself in that regard. I I just got a hunch that that's going to be the case. And I think you're going to see some great growth and strides in that department because that is, I think, his weak spot, and that is something he's going to get better at. And in turn, all of the other stuff gets better if that does play itself out.
All right, we want to get to a few of your text messages. You can still call in as well. The two questions, basically, we're juggling today. One is, do you think the Packers are too risk-averse? Do they need to take more chances?
And this is why this is so
No,
confusing.
I didn't say, no, that was the caller.
No, I know you didn't. I'm saying
Spencer did.
Spencer.
Adverse. No, it's
Saying
averse.
He did not say averse, though.
He did not.
I know. I used to say averse.
There's an asterisk behind it.
And it's not like Yama, where it's the silent L's and it turns into a J, which is still one of the more fascinating deals in any language.
Yogging.
Adverse. Risk averse.
Risk
averse.
Averse. You were taking the K off of the risk.
I think
and then
it's
also
partly
putting
I
it
take the risk.
at the end.
This is what I think has happened. Yes.
Well, you should be risk averse with your money. You should go and keep it in a bank that you can trust and know that they will take great care of you. And that is what Associated Bank does for everyone, including me. Got to spend some time on Friday with my buddy Ben Sorensen. Got me caught up on the new accounts that we're going to open for the girls. It was great. It was great to catch up with him. He's been great for us. And Associated Bank as a whole has been great for us as well. And he and I and one of his assistants were talking about all the great things that we talk about on the show. Yes, Packers checking, right? Packers debit MasterCard, Packers checks, 10% off the Packers Pro Shop in-store and online. Ben wanted to know what card I wanted. Do I want a Badgers checking card? Do I want a Brewers checking card? Or do I just want the Associated Bank logo? You can have all those things.
But
more
you're not
important,
a fan? Tell him you're not a fan of anything?
I did, and I said, I'll take the Associated Bank logo.
And then did he say, but Tausch says that you're a fan of all this other stuff.
You also get credit monitor.
He's got
early pay.
He's getting a Tom Brady card. He's getting a big old picture of Tom. Oh, every time you go, you'll see that big watch he's got. Oh, it's Tommy B. I got the Tommy B card.
I don't know. I don't know if we have the rights to use Tom Brady in conjunction with a partner.
No. We probably don't.
No.
Allegedly. Let me make sure I put allegedly.
He called the big game yesterday. But Associated Bank doesn't just talk a big game. They deliver with their customer service.
Good. Nice.
With credit monitor, early pay on direct deposits, their $50 overdraft grace zone, and more than 30,000 surcharge-free ATMs. So go to AssociatedBank.com. Find out all the things that they do for you. Associated Bank. They're the best. We're the best sometimes, not necessarily today. We'll get to some of your texts next. It's Mark and Jason.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. The hottest takes.
Chris Middleton, as he has been traded.
That's when you start celebrating that the Milwaukee Bucks made a move that was necessary, made a move that makes them better.
Without pumping the brakes.
In
better?
my perspective.
What are you talking about? You think the Bucks are better right now?
Oh, my gosh. Ben.
Swerve through all your sports opinions here. Kyle Brust and Nortman. Weekdays 2 to 5 on 94.5 ESPN and on the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube channel.
Kevin Moret here for Mentality. Life's a relentless competition, and you might be losing without even knowing it. With testosterone levels plummeting 25% in just 2 decades, you're likely operating at a fraction of your potential. Your kids sense it when you're too exhausted for playtime. Your wife notices when that spark fades. Here's the harsh truth. Without addressing low T, nothing works. Diets fail, workouts fall flat, but there's hope. Mentality's FDA-approved treatment restores testosterone by an average of 30%. Don't let low T rob you of life's precious moments. Start at mentalityhealth.com/radio.
As a bull rider, I prefer to do things single-handedly. That's why I love the UW Credit Union app. Doggy! It lets me check accounts, make transfers and more on the go. And if I need an extra hand, UW Credit Union has 13 Milwaukee area branches. Yippee! So, if you want simple mobile banking, mosey on over to UW Credit Union. They're here for every y'all. Federally insured by NCUA.
Steinhaffel's President's Day sale is happening now. Find great deals on amazing bonus buys throughout the entire store. Then take an extra $100 off every $17.99 you spend. Plus, get a $100 MasterCard for every $17.99 you spend. See store for details. Or make your new room more affordable with Steinhaffel's 36-month 0% financing. Get in today because these deals won't last long. Shop in-store or online at steinhaffels.com.
Wisconsin is as hard-working of a place as you'll ever find. People here are tough, but even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. At Gruber Lofts, we won't stop fighting for you and your family. One call, that's all.
Fisco is always there for your auto body care. When accidents happen, Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin is there when you need them. Got a broken mirror? They'll take care of it. Dented bumper? Scratch paint? Fisco Auto Body will take care of it. If there's any damage you need fixed, Fisco has you covered. Their expert workmanship is guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. So stop in for all of your auto bumps and dings. Once again, you know the line. That's Fisco.
All-Star Weekend is almost here, and Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while you watch your favorite players. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. The app is really simple to use. Pick 2 or more players across any sport, pick more or less on their projection, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money. Play during All-Star Weekend and don't miss your chance to cash in on special events like the 3-point contest. Join Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app, available to play in more than 40-plus states, including California and Texas. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code WI, and you get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code WI on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. Win or lose, you'll get $50 for just playing. Guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
We'll get to some of your texts when we kick off the 11 o'clock hour, but let's get to one more call. Again, our 2 questions. One, do you believe the Packers are too risk-averse to win the big one? I don't personally believe that, but I can see the argument for it. And then the other one is, after watching the Eagles win the Super Bowl last night, do you as a Packers fan feel like they are farther away than you thought they were going into the Super Bowl, or not as far away? Closer, if you will. That's the question that we have as our poll question. 844-770-3776 is the Carbless Talk and text line. Let's go to Chris in Muskego. Chris, I assume you're leaning against the Jesse Nelson statue in downtown Muskego making this call.
Nope, actually driving to pick up some tzatziki sauce for homemade Greek gyros. But
does that sound good?
Yeah, do you
shave it? Do you shave it, or how do you do your homemade gyro?
I use pork tenderloin like you'd make a kebab. I do a kebab meat. I spent a couple of years in Greece in the 70s in the military, and there's no such thing as a gyro in Greece. They don't have enough meat that they make a big shape thing. It's all chunks of meat, lamb or pork. They don't have gyros in Greece. So the gyro thing's an American thing. It's not a Greek thing. Anyway,
that right?
Wait, is this like Tausch not liking the pizza in Italy too? Similar thing here?
Well, I don't like the gyro meat because it's usually 90% it's drier than heck, and it doesn't have as much flavor as if you use lamb or if you use the pork like it's designed to in the country.
Love it.
The gyros to me are just homemade, are just a United States thing. Anyways, I think the Packers need to go all in, and by saying that, I mean, they've got the salary cap room. I don't know if this is Devontae Wyatt's fourth year or if that already was his fourth year last year.
No, he's going into year 4. Him and Quay Walker.
So now if they try to get like Myles Garrett or the other two guys, Richardson and the guy from the Raiders, you know, how does that improve your whole defensive line? Now the other coach has got a game plan for that, to where if you're trying to draft that position, it's 50-50. And yes, I agree with you, Jason, from yesterday's show, listening to it. But yeah, Zach Bond, that was a cheap contract, but that's a 1 in a million opportunity. You're better off, that's throwing the dice more than trying to go after a guy like Garrett. I would think that they should go after Garrett as best they could if he's even up for the trade or he's going to be released. But I think they should try to go all in on that because Green Bay's got the salary cap room. You got to swing for the fence sometimes because base hits don't always win you ball games. Sometimes you got to hit one over the fence, and I think that's what they need to do.
All right, so Chris, let me ask you this before you go and make your gyro fry. Would you say
your what?
Gyro fry? Yeah, gyro fry. Yeah, no, never heard that before. It's like from a sitcom of some sort or some SNL skit. Chris, if you are going to get Myles Garrett, what are you willing to give up to get him? Because as Tausch detailed last week, you're talking about draft capital, not having a cheap rookie deal, which Goody loves, and paying him a new contract, which will be part of the trade. So how much are you willing to give up to get Myles Garrett on this team? Are you willing to give up 2 number ones and LVN? Are you willing to go that high?
Yeah, I gave up 2 first rounds because Myles Garrett's going to be worth that first 2 years. You don't know what you're going to get in the draft. LVN, I like the kid. He shows some get and go, but I just don't think he can cut it. I'd rather get rid of LVN, pick up another young contract, and they're already the youngest team in the league. So getting Myles Garrett at 29, like you keep saying, is why they picked up Reggie at 31, and look where Reggie took him. So, get Myles Garrett, give up 2 first-round draft picks, get rid of LVN if you have to, and then you're still going to pick up maybe a 3rd or 4th round from Cleveland somewhere because you're going to give some away, but you can also get some in return.
All right, Chris, good call. We appreciate it. Thank you. Look, again, I don't know. I thought I saw a list over the weekend of the trade destinations Myles Garrett would prefer. I did not see the Packers on the list. Doesn't mean that he can't be traded there, and it doesn't
want to trade him.
Doesn't mean that he's going to get traded at all. Exactly.
Cleveland doesn't want to trade him, so there's going to be some give and take there. But it is a long off season. Stuff happens fast, no doubt about it. There's stuff, already the ball's rolling. Aaron Rodgers not going to New York. Stafford wants to be traded. His wife on her podcast is saying, the ball, this NFL doesn't stop, man. It doesn't stop, and you better be ready to jump on this carousel and enjoy the ride. How it's going to be, I don't want to be in the all-in conversation at this point. I'm thinking more, are you willing to throw a little bit down and shake them dice? That's what I'm thinking. Do we want to shake a dice? Do you want to?
We'll talk about that when we kick off the 11 o'clock hour, which happens in 2 minutes. So stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
You wake up feeling like you just boxed 12 rounds. Some wake up sweating with sore jaws, headaches, and a lot of our patients complain of brain fog. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula, and these signs, often joined with snoring, are sleep apnea symptoms. And if this sounds like you may have been in a struggle last night between you and this serious disorder. Many people aren't willing to fight back. But the fact is, you can't go through these nightly struggles without ramifications that each night chip away at your life's expiration date. I get it. You don't want to wear a CPAP mask. You may find out you don't need one. We have every effective sleep apnea solution available. And believe me, the mask is the last resort.
It's time to take action to stop your sleep struggle. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
That weird Wisconsin weather is here. Snow one day, sun the next. But you can always count on Tsunami Express to keep your car clean. With 6 locations across southeastern Milwaukee, Tsunami Express helps fight that salt, grime, and mud with powerful vacuums and state-of-the-art wash technology. Technology like their best-in-class T2 with graphene for a long-lasting shine and protection. Stop at any Tsunami Express location and get your first wash free when you sign up online at TsunamiExpress.com. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. Terms and conditions apply. First wash free for new members only.
Love is in the air at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. This February, play to your heart's content in the Love It or Leave It $300,000 game show. Thursday night, you could love your prize or leave it for another. For a chance to cuddle up to thousands in cash and prizes, just play using your rewards card. Get ready to love it or leave it. Only at Potawatomi. Learn more at PaysBig.com. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Hey, this is Homer. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The 11 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch begins now. Before we get to some texts off the carbless talk and text line, this is more. A question from Kurt, not Benkert.
Menifee?
No, Burkham. In the
Warner?
ESPN Madison YouTube dwelling. And I've been in the Milwaukee one too, so don't get all whatever. I know there's folks that think I favor the Madison one. It's trying to run a show here, and I'm arguing with old boy all day.
You want to tell people don't be Kurt?
No, I like Kurt's. I think Kurt asks a really good question here. And the question is that there are 4 ways to acquire players: draft, free agency, player for player trade, draft pick for veteran player trade. Actually, there's also claiming players on waivers. What?
Well, the best way to do things in your list was, let's go get some really like all-pro defensive player of the year types for like $1.5 million. Like, we just need 2 or 3 of those guys.
Why are you seriously? Tell me about your trip to St. Louis, because you're kind of a knob today.
You can't take any needling. Like you can't take any.
No,
needling.
I just don't want misrepresentation.
It's
I
what
was
you said.
praising your guy Goody, who has a track record for finding bargain players that have worked out. Yeah. I'm not saying you're going to get Zach Bond, but if you can get
we need one. Absolutely.
You've now misrepresented that statement in 2 different ways.
No, I haven't.
Which is kind of impressive.
Jesse?
By the way, Josh Sweat is a free agent from the Eagles. Do you want to sign him to bolster your
be low price.
pass rush? No, he's definitely not. If I could get back to Kurt's question.
I stand by. I'd like to have Zach Bond in Green Bay, so I don't care what you guys say.
Why does Green Bay only use 2 of those ways to acquire players, given 50% of draft picks don't pan out? They don't trade for players. They trade players for draft picks. That is undeniable about their track record under both Ted and Goody. They draft, they develop, and they occasionally use free agency. And they used it extremely well to add 2 field-tilting players a year ago at this time. Tom Pelissero just tweeted out that it's a month from today, February 10th, so March 10th, that the negotiating window opens in free agency. We'll see. We'll see if there's a Xavier McKinney to be had.
There's going to be a splash. Believe that. Daryl Hannah coming to GB. I believe that.
She an outside pass rusher? How fast is she with those fins? Because she's a mermaid. Which, by the way, referring to the film Splash with Daryl Hannah and Tom Hanks, along the same lines as Dallas and J.R. Ewing.
Well, Bartsky wouldn't let me watch any movies or shows, so I didn't get any updated stuff, so I'm still stuck
in
with
the
my
back
old
seat.
movies.
He didn't let you watch Cobra Kai?
No Cobra Kai. No.
Wow.
What about the hotel?
Seat.
What about the hotel show?
That comes out, I think, on Valentine's Day. So,
Jesse, what's that called again?
The White Lotus, season 3.
Yeah, White Lotus.
On Max premieres.
Is that the name of the hotel?
Well, the concept of the White Lotus, Jason, is the White Lotus is a resort, and each season is a standalone story of a murder of some type that takes place at one of the White Lotus resorts, and there's a bunch of different characters that are involved.
Do you guys want to? I want to quiz you two, because on our 5-hour drive, I was shunned, or I was made to be a fool.
Well, that's not that
I
hard.
don't mind if I say something. They thought I was joking. And it was not only Bartsky, but it was Chase and Max that also thought I was a fool. They asked something about Rosetta Stone, and I didn't know there's an actual Rosetta Stone. Did you guys know there's a Rosetta Stone? If you don't know me by now, I ain't going to lie about this.
If you don't know
I thought
me by
Rosetta
now.
Stone was just the voice, like the language translator learning.
To learn a language.
That's what I thought.
You thought
Because the question was, and I said, well, no, there's not only 3 things on a Rosetta Stone. There's you can learn every language on Rosetta Stone. And they kind of gave me a look like, man, you're an idiot. I did not know anything else about Rosetta Stone. So now I had a ton of questions. Did they have to pay to market and trademark their language tool to the English for the use of the Rosetta Stone? I didn't know any of that.
I thought it was Egyptian.
I don't know.
Did you think Rosetta Stone was the name of a person?
I wasn't sure.
Rosetta Stone.
If I'm being honest,
like the Martha Stewart
I didn't know
Veronica's mom.
But Rosetta Stone,
Like the George
for most
Foreman
of us, Rosetta Stone means, oh, you're trying to learn a new language. Like, that is where I'm at. Yeah. So either Rosetta Stone has done such a great job marketing what they do, or I'm an idiot and I just don't know anything about Rosetta Stone. And it could be both in this regard.
Yeah, I will be honest. I am not well versed in what is chiseled into the Rosetta Stone. I haven't done my research on that, but I always thought of it as a tablet like the 10 Commandments with a bunch of words on it. And I think it's Egyptian. That's the extent of my knowledge of the actual Rosetta Stone. I assume that it's in multiple languages, which is why Rosetta Stone, the company, decided to use it. I don't know who they would pay royalties to answer your other question. But I assume that's why they did it, because Rosetta Stone requires some translation. Again, this is not my area of expertise. But how did it come up in conversation is my question.
I don't know.
If it wasn't about the translation software.
We were playing all kinds of fun games in the car. We had that.
Did everyone think they were
where you
fun,
have to
or
get a
just
number
you?
and you have to kind of say something? We played a bunch of fun games in the car. We had a great time.
Where were
That's
you
why
on
I'm in a good-
I-39 when the Rosetta Stone came up? Had you made it to Laken, Toledo?
We were before Rockford, but probably in between Bloomington and Rockford.
Boy. You had a long way to go then.
And they legit, I am a history guy, And I'm disappointed in myself I didn't know more about Rosetta Stone. Who is Rosetta, and why is this stone so important? I still don't know those answers. I don't.
Jesse, do you have any texts on the carbless talking text line written in ancient Egyptian or in English?
I have one here from Tom in North Carolina. Not sure where he stands on the Rosetta Stone, but he thinks, quote, Mark made a good point about Vic Fangio when we were talking about that a while back, which was that he made great use of his talent. I'm not saying that Jeff Hafley didn't, but I think LaFleur should have at least taken a look at Fangio for defensive coordinator last offseason when Hafley was hired. Fangio made a bigger impact on Philly than Hafley made in Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think that's arguable. They won a championship, and their defense is one of the best in the league. Hafley made a monster impact in Green Bay. So now it's just a matter of who is going to be able to move pieces, because Philly is losing some guys. They're going to lose Sweat. They're going to probably lose a couple of their key pieces, right? Is Green Bay going to run it back with their front, or are they going to make a big move? My guess is they're going to do something bold. They know that they know that their front four, when tested in big ways, wasn't good enough. And they can't just sit pat and say it's going to be a lot better. I don't think that's the road they're going to go down.
I don't want Tom or Mark to take this the wrong way, but the time to hire Vic Fangio was after Joe Barry's second season, because Vic Fangio got fired as the Broncos head coach in 2021. He spent the 2022 season as a consultant for the Eagles. Obviously, we discussed following the 22 season moving on from Joe Barry, and he got a third year. Fangio went to Miami, was there for a year, and then he left there and went back to Philly, where he'd been that consultant in 2022. So he was available after both the 22 and the 23 seasons. Now,
and it felt like that's the type of defense that old boy
correct,
wanted, right?
Right. So I know that we talked about Fangio on this show after the 22 season about him being available. Now,
but it sounds like, according to one of our callers, Bisaccia didn't allow that to happen.
Bisaccia is definitely a Joe Barry fan. They are good friends. I made the mistake of asking him for his thoughts on Jeff Hafley as a defensive coordinator, and as you recall, that did not go well for me in the press conference setting with Rich Bisaccia. My point is that I think they got it right. Now, could they be in the market for another defensive coordinator in a year or 2 years because Jeff Hafley gets a head coaching job? Maybe. I think we probably are guilty of overvaluing Packers assistants because there haven't been that many that have gone on to head coaching jobs. Joe Philbin got one. Nathaniel Hackett got one. I'm trying to think of others of recent vintage that went on to get head coaching jobs elsewhere. But Jeff Hafley's a good football coach, and their defense was markedly better. Yes, it helped to have Xavier McKinney on it, but I think they got it right. But I don't think they got it right with Joe Barry. Jesse, you got one more text you want to get to?
Jack in Madison. Seems like we go through this every year. We have to do things the way whoever won the Super Bowl did it, even if it's totally different than the way the team the year before did it. Is there a prisoner of the moment reaction to watching the Super Bowl champion like the Eagles last night?
There's no doubt, but yeah, and Jack's right. That definitely is how things are viewed, and that's why players typically get poached from championship, because you want some of that Rosetta Stone. You want a little piece that will unlock the future for you to maybe get to where these guys have been. Coach is the same way. And if you can get a little piece, everybody wants to be around champions. How'd you do it? What's the secret sauce?
Get a little piece.
So it's not some, that is, Jack, there's no doubt that happens because people want to get to that place. and it's great to have someone that has a roadmap. Now, does that mean they're going to all take the same path? Absolutely not. But do you want to be around winners? Most people do.
Yeah, I just think, and Jack, that's an interesting text. I don't know if we did a show last year after the Chiefs won their second straight Super Bowl and third in 4 years, and now did not get their third in a row. I don't know if we were saying that they needed to mimic what the Chiefs were doing. I mean, remember last year at this time, we were all floating on air. The rebuilding year turned into a playoff year, and they beat the Cowboys and almost beat the 49ers. I think we're taking a more critical look at the Packers this year after the Super Bowl than we were last year after the Super Bowl. What we were talking about last year was, hey,
we crowned him too early.
Could have been there, right?
We crowned him too early.
And so, and when I went through my list earlier in the show of getting pressure with 4 and having an offensive line that protects, which they have had in the past,
guys for the league minimum that are all pro. They got those 3 things.
Making sure that your quarterback runs both when he scrambles and
have a laugh.
Design.
Come on,
runs.
Fangio. Hey, you can laugh. Fangio doesn't even crack a smile after. You can laugh when something's funny.
When I'll let you know when something's funny, Mark. Wait, do we have Kay Adams laugh?
No, I lost that one. I got to get it back. No! I got to get it back. We'll find it.
And getting back to the play action, I think those are all things that already exist in this offense. They just need to augment them or utilize them more. And so I don't think we're asking, to Jack's point, the Packers to do something completely different than what they have the capability of doing. It's some upgrades, and it's having a healthy Jordan Love use his legs more, because that is a major component of quarterbacking in 2025. And so I don't know that we're necessarily knee-jerking or palming it right now, but I do think there are some lessons to be taken from what the Eagles did yesterday. All right, I'm looking through the rundown. I don't see trivia on here. So
no, you don't.
Are we going to try triple dog dare you trivia at some point this week?
5-piece nuggy trivia Wednesday? Wow.
What did we commit to last week? Do you recall?
Well, I don't recall committing to anything. I thought you reluctantly were willing to humor old boy and consider the possibility of triple trivia on a single day.
I think.
And then he pushed the envelope wanting to do 5 on one day.
Yeah, just never enough.
It isn't.
Triple Trivia Tuesday will take place tomorrow, recapping the NFL season. So it is not the sports weekend recap. It is the NFL season recap. We'll have 9 questions, 3 contestants, recapping the NFL season tomorrow.
And for those of us that are interested in preventing complete train wrecks on the program, how exactly do you intend to have 3 callers on the air in somewhat simultaneous manner?
A lot of button pushing, and I'm going to ask you to stall a little bit between each contestant. That's how we're going to do that. Make sure I don't hit the wrong button and hang up on somebody by accident.
What would you say if Prize Picks were, and by the way, we're doing Coors Light next, not Prize Picks. But if Prize Picks was projecting the number of times a contestant is hung up on during Triple Dog Dare You Trivia, would you say if they set the projection at 1.5, would you go more or less?
1.5 would have the little demon guy next to it, because that would be definitely like a little further. Like, I'm a pretty good producer back here. Like, I think 0.5 drops would be.
But what about audio? We've had some issues with audio running over the top.
We don't need to rehash about top of us. We don't need to rehash about all the times that I haven't been a good producer. I just happened to share that I think I'm a
well.
pretty
If you
good
throw
producer.
that in with it, Jason, a hang up or any other audio that's not meant to be played,
but
not
you
take
Kay Adams laugh because we've lost it.
Yeah, I can't.
No, that's gone. Even though that was awesome. You know what else is awesome? Drink it a Coors Light, brewed with a 3-step cold process, cold lager, cold filtered, and cold package, so it's made to chill. Make sure those mountains are blue. That's when you know Coors Light's cold-activated bottles and cans are chilled to perfection. So it is always Coors Light in my hand when I need a moment to chill. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
I really wanted to play something over that read, but I opted not to because I value our partnership with Coors Light.
Thank you for your service.
We're going to get to Whoa Nelly coming up, but next, Mark does not want Debo. We'll explain next.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. All day, every day, the Carbless talk and text line is open for you.
First off, there is not one team that's on the fringe that scares me.
800-990-3776. The Carbless talk and text line. This is more.
If only life had a remote control, you could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Hey guys, Josh DiMaggio here. Don't be like me and wait till the last minute. Valentine's Day is almost here. Impress that special someone with a handcrafted bouquet from Flowers for Dreams. Order a bouquet online at flowersfordreams.com or visit their Walker's Point location. Use code ESPN at checkout for 15% off your bouquet, or this year, try something new with tickets to their date night open studio workshop on Friday, February 14th. Every Valentine's bouquet benefits an amazing local Milwaukee charity. That's flowersfordreams.com, code ESPN.
Come see Pal at the Neary Spring Home Improvement Show February 14th through the 16th. Learn about our incredible design team with an ability to customize windows to match your unique home. Pal Windows and Doors of Wisconsin is now offering windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month. Rest easy with our 10-year installation warranty. Book your in-home consultation at the show and receive a complimentary DesignWorks consultation and a Pella Care inspection. Visit PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply.
Hey, this is Jason Wilde from Wilde and Tausch. Valentine's Day is almost here, and Racine Danish Kringles has you covered with their heart-shaped Kringle. You know my family loves Kringle from Racine Danish Kringles, and sometimes they share it with me. Racine Danish Kringles offers a heart-shaped Kringle with pink icing in raspberry, chocolate silk, cherry, and pecan flavors to send to your loved one. Order at Kringle.com or call 800-4DANISH. Racine Danish Kringles, the official pastry of ESPN Wisconsin. It's not just a treat, it's a tradition.
It's the perfect Valentine's heart.
The kind a schoolboy would draw. It's the most adorable pendant we've ever created.
Innocent, fun-loving, and sweeter than honey.
Cute, cute, cute.
It's cherry red ceramic that's been through the fire.
We've been making ceramic jewelry for thousands of years.
Seriously?
Google it. But this ceramic heart has things they didn't know about thousands of years ago.
Like what?
Diamonds. 18 of them. These created diamonds were made for the one who sparkles like the sun.
I can see her in my mind right now.
It's the perfect Valentine's gift.
And it's only $128 at Kessler's.
Monica, what else do we have? We have 4 different ways to say I love you.
Each pendant is a different shape covered in diamonds.
Life is like a box of chocolates. An oval. A square with rounded corners. A teardrop. And a heart.
Your choice, just $148 at Kessler's. For the location of the Kessler's nearest you, visit Kessler'sDiamonds.com.
Time is running out to sign up for the trip of a lifetime with Homer. Join Homer and Colette Vacations this August to see the many shades of Ireland. It's the last chance to join Homer to explore the historic city of Dublin. Journey through Ireland's breathtaking countryside. Stay overnight at a medieval castle and do so much more. Visit ESPNMilwaukeeTravel.com or text Homer to 800-990-3776 for the full details of the trip. Spots remain, so don't miss out on this special trip with Homer and Colette.
Get ready for the grooviest celebration of the year. Join us at American Place Casino for our Woodstock and Wildflowers 2-year anniversary bash on Saturday, February 15th. We're giving away $50,000 in cash and free play with winners drawn every 15 minutes from 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. Participate in our costume drawing for a chance to win $500 in free play. Come celebrate our 2-year anniversary. Don't miss out on all the fun promotions and live entertainment. Peace, love, and big jackpots await. Visit AmericanPlace.com for more details.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
It seems like everywhere I go, the more I see, the less I know. But I know one thing, that I love you.
Before we get to Whoa Nelly, Marcus Mosher, who is a radio host, writes for the 33rd Team, it appears, with a tweet that caught Tausch's eye. And it says this: 8 of the 22 starters for the Eagles in the Super Bowl were acquired via free agency or trade, all within the last 3 years. Drafting and developing is still number one, but it can't be the only way you acquire talent. I think we would agree with that. Do we think Goody needs to do more than he does?
It's hard for me as a Goody stan to say that, because what do you want from him? He picked up 2 of the best free agents, and I know Zach Baun, going off of Jason's Rosetta Stone list, he's right. Zach Baun is a home run at that price. But he picked up a monster all-pro impact safety, and in a normal year, an all-pro tailback. I don't know where Josh fit into that. But you're talking about 2 of your best players were picked up via free agency. Now, if you want to say you need to start trading some picks to get great players, hey, good luck. Because unless they're forcing their way out, a lot of times the reason guys are up for trade because they ain't getting it done, or the team doesn't want them. So, for everybody that's, and I don't know what it's all going to be. I know we're going to talk Debo either today or tomorrow, and he wants to be traded, and Tyreek Hill down in Miami wasn't happy he was going to retire. He wanted out. No. BYOB when it comes to guys that want to be traded. BYOB.
Well, I don't think the Debo Samuel conversation needs to be saved for tomorrow. We can do it right now, especially since I brought it up heading into break, because it's a simple discussion. You don't want him.
No.
He is from the 2019 draft class. Goody mentioned when they drafted Elton Jenkins, he was talking about this in his postseason presser with us, that they had Debo Samuel on their board. They had DK Metcalf on their board. I'll have to go look if they went before Elton went or not, but they were under consideration too. But Debo Samuel, Tausch, I'm no expert on tires, but I think he has been utilized to such a degree that those tires are pretty worn and there's not a lot of tread left, even for a not that old player. Would you agree or disagree?
I saw how he went about his season, and he's a tough dude. There's no doubt. He is, broken our backs a couple of times with what he's able to do in the run game and everything else. But if you're going to go make that move, I would take Devontae over Debo any day of the week. And that's not me being, I like Devontae and none of that. It's just what I watch. And Debo's been hurt a bunch. He is not a speed demon. I don't even know if I'd say he's a great route runner. I think he is a tough, good football player. And you would say, well, you can never have enough of those guys. For the price and everything involved, best of luck to you. I always look at it, would I fear going against him if he went to the Vikings or to the Bears? I would say bring it on. I just don't think Debo, I would agree with your assessment. I think he is beaten up a little bit. Could he get rejuvenated? Absolutely. Maybe he changes how he operates. No doubt. I don't think he's ever going to be a featured tailback, which for a stretch, he had to put in his contract and he was going to get paid more if he had a certain amount of carries.
Mm-hmm.
So there is just, I would say, be very cautious. I personally don't want Debo Samuel as any solution to what the Packers are looking for. I think Jayden Reed, while not going to be as physical as Debo, can fit that role if you let him grow. I know everybody wants first-year broadcasters and first-year players and second-year players to be a finished product and polished and be the greatest thing ever, but I am going to allow for a little grace for people to continue to grow and develop in their new roles, whether it's a first wideout or a second wideout or a fifth booth guy or running the Super Bowl. I want to see guys grow and improve because I've always been told growth isn't linear. There's chop, and I think that's what we're seeing with Jayden Reed.
How's your growth been with your Prize Picks picks?
I
wonder if that's contributed to your mood at all.
I had great opportunities if my guy Saquon gets led into the end zone instead of behind him, and he's got to juggle it like he's Johnny Juggler. Doesn't get in.
One.
And then, of course, tush push city comes to town. No Saquon Tutter. No big win for old T. But I still had fun. The big game is over. It's All-Star Weekend is almost here, and Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while you watch your favorite players. Over 10 million members, billions of dollars awarded. Prize Picks has made it fun. The app is simple to use. Pick more or less. You can win up to 1,000 times your money. And play during All-Star Weekend. Don't miss your chance to cash in on a lot of special events like the three-point contest. You got, I think Dollar Dame is back in that. Join Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Over 40 states, including California and Texas. Download the Prize Picks app. Use that code WI for the greatest state in our union. That is, of course, Wisconsin. You get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code WI on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. Win or lose, you'll get $50 just for playing, and that is guaranteed. Prize Picks.
Run.
Your
All-Star
game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Take less on Giannis, by the way.
He will be off the board.
He will not be
I
participating.
think that's going to be an option. But.
I do. And I'm not any fun. All right. We need to get to Whoa Nelly. We'll see what Mark and Jesse.
When you're telling other people about opportunities, you want to be. That's not Vic Fangio-esque. It's tough.
I'm going to take that as a win. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by...
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcasts for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
Join the roar of 18,000 Bucks fans at Fiserv Forum and be a part of the slam dunks, game-changing plays, and electrifying victories live. Witness the edge-of-your-seat action and unforgettable moments as they happen. You don't want to miss this. Grab your calendar, handpick your favorite matchups, and secure your seats for Dame time in Milwaukee and every incredible moment that comes next at bucks.com/tickets. That's bucks.com/tickets.
Stay up to date on the Green and Gold all off season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
When that nonstop pain starts swelling up in your knees, your hips, your shoulders, or your back, that's when you know it's time to go to QC Kinetics. Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Brad Nortman. My experience with QC Kinetics has been unbelievable. When I went there myself, I was amazed at the state-of-the-art treatments and how they met me exactly where I was in diagnosing me and putting on a personal path toward recovery. When I hear all the testimonials of people going to QC Kinetics that finally get rid of their pain, it's unbelievable to hear that they are experiencing a new life after their treatments with QC Kinetics. Their ability to use cutting-edge regenerative treatments, including PRP, plasma, platelets, things that you only hear about theoretically, but when you can see with your own two eyes, you see why they are the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. If you're finally ready to get rid of that joint pain and start living the life that you want to in 2025, call QC Kinetics for your free consultation. 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tausch here for Kohler Services. Well, if you've been putting off your bath or shower remodel, now is the time to turn to Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get 0 interest financing for 12 months and a free shower door with your Lugstone shower remodel. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Just like most cars and trucks can't run without oil, no person can function without food. That's why through March 1st, the Auto Dealers of Metro Milwaukee is contributing $1 from every oil change to Feeding America, Eastern Wisconsin. Every dollar provides 3 healthy meals. Over the past 14 years, Adam has provided more than 2.6 million meals to people in southeast Wisconsin. And now the need is greater than ever. Find a participating Adam dealer near you at adamm.com.
America is kept safe because the Army National Guard responds, protects, and supports our nation when it needs them most. The Army National Guard responds to disasters such as wildfires and floods. They protect us with missile defense, cybersecurity, and civilian support teams for chemical, biological, and radiological hazards. Be there for your community and your country. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
At UW Credit Union, our home loans have everything you need for your next big step, including up to $750 off closing costs for all home buyers. And first-time buyers can save even more. So if you're ready to trade roomies for more room, or your townhome for an out-of-town home, UW Credit Union will be with you from start to furnished. UW Credit Union. Apply online today. Equal housing lender. Credit may be limited as required by program. Visit uwcu.org for details.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
We didn't leave him a whole lot of time, but just enough for Whoa, Jesse.
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
Just the other morning I had breakfast at Tracy Rocker's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Whoa, Nelly!
On Wilde and Tausch.
All right, this is one of our favorite traditions. No free advertising. But let's talk about the advertising. Without giving away any free advertising for any non-partners of Wilde and Tausch, which Super Bowl commercials were your favorites last night, guys?
Coors Light. Coors Light was the best by far.
And, all right. Jason?
First of all, I'm happy to report that I can't give them free advertising because I can't remember what it was for, which means that it wasn't all that effective. But Seal, the singer, as a seal, not a fan of that one. And it made me wonder what Seal was thinking, committing to that. Also, there was one where people...
I thought that was on Good Morning America and other spots. I saw that was one of the favorites of the night. It was Seal the Seal.
Yeah, I like Seal. I enjoy his music. I did not enjoy that commercial. Also, there were a few others that, as a father of 2 female athletes, I'm going to say Nike, if you don't mind. I thought the Nike ad was really good. I feel like female athletes are not very often well represented. I thought it was a really good ad. And speaking of female athletes, I thought the NFL's, I don't know enough about this groundswell, but the NFL on the idea of making girls flag football a varsity sport, I thought was really interesting. I know Sydney found that interesting, and I think she would like to play that in some way. I don't know how quickly that will catch on, but the NFL is obviously pushing for that. At the same time, I find myself wondering, why is the NFL pushing for that so hard? Because it is an untapped reservoir of popularity, I would think, to expand their brand, much like their game in Australia and Ireland and everywhere else they're headed. So those were the two that resonated the most with me that I liked. There were a couple of others that I liked, but those were the two that stood out. I also liked David Beckham and Matt Damon for whatever that commercial was, where he was the other David, was Matt Damon. I thought that was pretty good. I got a kick out of that one.
Whoa, Nelly! I enjoyed Eugene Levy's flying facial hair, but then another snack company did a very similar ad a little later in the broadcast, and that was very unfortunate that they would both have the same idea to do flying facial hair. That seemed like it was just poor timing and bad luck of the draw there.
Yeah, one other one that I really liked and I thought was really clever. Again, we're not giving out any free advertising.
Nope, of course not. Yeah.
Unless it's for an ice cream shop.
I didn't see any ice cream ads
I didn't
last
either.
night.
I thought the breast cancer awareness one with how men in general maybe pay more attention to breasts in some ways, but not in others. And as someone who's love of their life battled breast cancer and is doing extremely well, knock on wood, nowadays. Paula, if Paula hadn't been checked as early as she was, and had she not had someone who was as aggressive in examining her scan, I don't know what would have happened, but it would have been really bad. And so I thought that ad, obviously, again, something that I identified with, the idea of being much more proactive if you are a woman to getting screened, I thought that was fantastic, because without early detection, I don't think Paula's process would have gone, and Paula will tell you this, would have gone the way it did. And it's scary to think how much a little bit of time can make a difference in that. So I hope people watch that. It's certainly, I think the website is yourattentionplease.com. And the last one, the guy's he's serving a coffee and he's staring in a different direction than the woman's face. I thought that was great. I thought that was very clever and pay very close attention. So I hope that got people and women to get to sign up for screenings quickly.
Whoa, Nelly! That one with the dancing tongue was the worst one of the night. That one was weird.
Didn't your guy Federer do a commercial with like Elmo? Did you see that?
I don't know.
Tausch's guy. I thought he did.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
I think Tausch is done talking about the ads.
Whoa, Nelly!
I like.
What do you want me to do?
Lights.
Jump in? I'm not gonna interrupt when Jason's like going all heartfelt.
Hey Tausch, on a 1 to 10 scale, what would you grade?
Tausch.
What would you grade Kendrick Lamar's halftime show last night?
Yeah, not for me, but Max seemed to enjoy it. I'm guessing other people did too. Not my jam.
I didn't hear a number there.
I'm not going to give a number because it's not my jam. 5. I'll say it's middle of the road. 5.
All right.
Don't have a strong opinion on it.
Jason?
There was no cameo and I tried to, Sid was asleep by then, so she didn't really miss it. But there was no cameo from Taylor Swift for Bad Blood. I did think the cameo from Serena Williams, once I learned the backstory with the Drake thing, which I wasn't up to date on, was pretty darn bold. It is. I will echo Tausch's sentiments. I am not the target demo for that. I'm too old for it. It was fine. Kind of like Tom Brady's analysis during the game.
Whoa, Nelly! Samuel L. Jackson, Uncle Sam.
That was pretty good. Clever.
Is there any time? Last question here. So I was at a watch party last night. I mentioned that earlier in the show. All the food was out before kickoff, which was great. Like, we're grazing, snacking throughout. Except mozzarella sticks came out with like 5 minutes left in the game. So all the food's out before kickoff, and then like a Hail Mary, 40 to whatever the score was. Everybody's like putting their jackets on, getting ready to go, and they bring out a tray of mozzarella sticks for everybody to eat. Is there any such thing as being too late to presenting the food for your Super Bowl party?
Maybe they just felt like they wanted to throw a little something for people that were going on a long trip to fill their tummies. No, if food is brought out, you should be happy whenever it gets brought out. If you're a guest at someone's home. I remember this party we went to, and they're bringing out lamb chops at 11 o'clock at night, and I couldn't have been more pleased. Bring it. I don't have a problem.
11 o'clock?
Yeah, it was awesome.
How late
Great
did you
surprise.
stay?
Well, I stayed enough to get some lamb chops, I can tell you that.
That kind of went without saying. All right. Whoa, Nelly.
Whoa, Nelly!
We'll wrap things up next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Watch every ESPN.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. The best source for every piece of NFL news you need to know.
That's the idea of a deal. Each side gets wins, right? They have Jordan Love under contract for the next 5 years.
ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter is on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy every Wednesday morning at 7:30. Sponsored by Island Resort and Casino.
I think Packers fans would sign up for 12-5 today, and maybe they will be.
Right here on 94.5 ESPN and also streaming live on the Wisconsin On Demand app and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman, here to tell you about my friends at Bank 5-9. Everywhere I go throughout the area, I see Bank 5-9, and it's no wonder why. Not only do they have 14 branch locations, but their employees spend nearly 9,000 hours each year volunteering in the communities that they serve. That's on top of the financial support that they provide to several hundred nonprofits right here in southeastern Wisconsin. If you're looking for a true local community bank, check them out today at bank59.com. Member FDIC.
This is Kevin Moret from Mentality. Men, you're being robbed of your potential. Research shows a shocking 1% annual decline in testosterone levels. That's why building muscle feels impossible and your confidence is at an all-time low. But here's the truth. You're not alone in this uphill battle. Mentality's physician-directed, FDA-approved treatment doesn't just level the playing field, it restores your body's powerful balance. Our patients experience a documented 30% increase in their testosterone levels. Stop struggling and turn this around. Defy the odds and reclaim your masculine edge at mentalityhealth.com/radio.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Orlando Franklin.
Typically, when you look at the quarterback position, you want a guy that week in, week out is going to go for 300. And Jaylen's shown you that that's just not his game. But what we saw today with the 11 carries, with the 72 yards, with the leading average for this offense, averaging 6.5, while the standard is only 4.1, I thought he was exceptional in the pocket with how poised he was. So when to throw the ball, when to use his legs, he was really good at that aspect. And that's where he took another huge step forward, in my opinion, and why he deserves this Super Bowl MVP. But as far as the critics are always going to be there because we have this weird perception that the quarterback needs to be at 300 plus yards or as close to 300 yards each and every week for some reason.
Some things you wouldn't mind being stuck with, like a huge inheritance.
But a phone that has to be plugged in just right so it charges is not one of those things. Switch to Verizon and we'll pay off your old phone up to $800 via prepaid MasterCard for a new one on us. Just trade in any phone from our top brands with select unlimited plans. $829.99 purchase with new smartphone line on select unlimited plans. Minimum $90 per month with auto pay plus taxes and fees for 36 months required. Less $830 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Trade-in terms apply. Payoff phone requires smartphone purchase and port-in with new smartphone line on select plan. Must provide most recent bill showing payoff amount of eligible phone. Additional terms apply.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on annual retirement contributions. With Robinhood Gold, the perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
Your taste buds are in luck. The Reuben is back at Cousin Subs. Try this classic sub grilled to order just for you. Stacked with corned beef, Wisconsin Swiss cheese, and sauerkraut topped with Thousand Island dressing and served on rye bread. And our delicious mint shake is back. Both the Reuben and mint shake can be ordered via the Cousins app or online for a limited time only. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Now I've got Monday in my head because that was the song that was used in the Coors Light commercial with the sloths. Case of the Mondays. So that was pretty clever. And looking at the list, it's kind of middle of the pack in the New York Times rankings of the more than 60 commercials, it would appear. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
$480 million right there. $8 million a commercial.
Yeah, that's a lot, no doubt about it. Well, we started by debating Tom Brady, but we ended up in a good place discussing the Packers and their risk-averse nature. What's in store tomorrow? You'll have to tune in to find out. That's it for us today. Have a great day. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial-free full show podcasts are available free on Wisconsin On Demand.
Mark Tauscher here, and these days I am sleeping better than ever. I am so thankful I met with the great team at Advent to help solve my sleeping problems. The Advent team is so great to work with, and their consultations are very informative. The Advent team listened to my struggles, and rather than forcing a surgery, they helped me find the best solution for a better night's sleep. My family and I are so thankful the solutions from Advent worked. To see how they can help you with snoring, sleep apnea, and nasal breathing problems, go to adventknows.com, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Come see Pal at the Neary Spring Home Improvement Show February 14th through the 16th. Learn about our incredible design team with an ability to customize windows to match your unique home. Pal Windows and Doors of Wisconsin is now offering windows as low as $22 per month and doors as low as $89 per month. Rest easy with our 10-year installation warranty. Book your in-home consultation at the show and receive a complimentary DesignWorks consultation and a Pella Care inspection. Visit PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply.
Your first time driving a stick shift. The car, sporty. Your teacher, nervous. You've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with Online Activation Zone, so you can easily shift your direct deposits from your old clunker of a bank to Associated Bank in just a few clicks. You've got this with Activation Zone from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
On the campus of the worldwide headquarters of ESPN. And from Studio Q in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is Joe and Q on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. respect on his name.
Jalen's special. The criticism, it just blows my mind because I think he's so special and won so many games and just continues to get better.
I think that he has an opportunity to get to that place to where we start putting more respect on his name and start saying he is a premier quarterback in the National Football League.
Jaylen Hurts is now not just the premier quarterback in the National Football League, he's now a champion. That sound was courtesy of Sports Radio 94 WIP. It's Joe and Q on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app, SiriusXM Channel 80. We're also on your smart speaker. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. Alongside Joe Fortenbaugh, I'm Q Myers. And Joe, one of the big keys to this game going into Super Bowl 59, we talked about it multiple times, was the fact that Kansas City likes to play a lot of man-to-man defense. So we knew that Steve Spagnuolo was going to try to load up the box and make sure Saquon Barkley did not defeat them, which was give Jaylen Hurts an opportunity to beat that man-on-man coverage with A.J. Brown, who's phenomenal off the line of scrimmage, and, of course, Devontae Smith on the go routes. We saw exactly that. Jaylen was able to hit his shots that he had to hit. He was the MVP of the game. Does this change the narrative and the story behind who Jaylen Hurts is as a quarterback in the National Football League?
Without question, because he now has a Super Bowl to hang his hat on, right? So at any point when a naysayer comes out and in some way, shape, or form tries to say, here's why Jaylen Hurts doesn't belong, or here's why Jaylen Hurts isn't in that category, or here's why Jaylen Hurts isn't elite, the first immediate counter can be, he won a Super Bowl, he won a Super Bowl MVP. Like right there. And then there's kind of a pause in the conversation. If you go to 2 Super Bowls and you lose 2 Super Bowls and they're both to Patrick Mahomes, there's not necessarily any shame in that, but there's a great case that starts to be built against your greatness. Now, that case takes a significant hit. Yesterday, going into that game, he was going to be the key for the Eagles' offense. Last year, against Christian McCaffrey and the San Francisco 49er rushing attack, which was the best in the business, Steve Spagnuolo needed to find a way to limit what they could do. Brock Purdy had to beat them, and he did. He did in terms of limiting them. 31 carries, 110 yards, no touchdowns. He held the Niners and the most explosive rushing attack in the game to under 4 yards per carry. Same thing this time around. Had to limit Barkley, and he did. The problem is Hurts did what Purdy couldn't. Hurts made the plays. He made them in the air. He made them with his legs. He did what he needed to do to help deliver his team a win. So we're done with all that stuff. Now, if we want to start having the conversation about which tier he's on or how he stacks up to Allen, Burrow, Mahomes, and all these other guys, we can do that. But Hurts has definitely moved himself into a different stratosphere because he's now not only got the Super Bowl, he's got the Super Bowl MVP as well.
You know, the thing about Jaylen that I've always admired, even going back to Alabama, is just he has winning traits, right? There's certain guys that you just look at and you know that, okay, that guy knows how to win. He's not afraid of the moment. He's going to attack it head on, and he could come through in the clutch. I mean, even getting benched at Alabama, then coming in when you had to get it done, he was able to do that. Then switching up, going to Oklahoma, completely different than being at Alabama, and ended up in New York as a Heisman Trophy finalist. He didn't win, but he was there. And then all of a sudden to go and do what he's done in the National Football League, being to 2 Super Bowls and winning 1. He's got winning traits. I'm not going to put him in a category and say he's up there with Mahomes and Burrow and Allen and Lamar. I don't think you have to. I just think that you have to look at him and say, this is a quarterback that can get it done, knows how to win. He's not necessarily going to drop back 45 times and light you up for 304 touchdowns, but he doesn't have to. Right? The Eagles aren't asking him to do that. The Eagles are asking him to stick to the recipe. Let's not make any bad mistakes like that bad interception that nobody's going to talk about now because the Eagles blew out the Chiefs. But, you know, you can't have those kind of mistakes. You can't have a fumble that gets returned for 6, right? I mean, those are the kind of mistakes that you have to avoid. Outside of that, he's a damn good quarterback.
Yeah, this is that classic 2 things can be true, right? Like Jaylen Hurts can be a very good quarterback, and then at the same time we can also acknowledge the fact that there is no quarterback in the NFL that has a better situation than Jaylen Hurts, and it's not even close.
It's not his fault either.
Best situation. No, it's not his fault. It's absolutely not his fault. But he has a better situation than anybody. He's got a top 3 offensive line. He's got a top 2 running back. You might even say number 1. He's got a top 5 wide receiver unit. He's got a top 5 tight end. So everything around him on offense is as elite can be when you package the entire unit together. You might say, hey, wait a minute. minute, Joe Burrow's got a better wide receiving unit. Okay, make that case. Joe Burrow's offensive line and running game come nowhere close to what Philadelphia has.
Facts.
You might say Lamar Jackson has a better running back somehow because Derrick Henry's better than Barkley. Sure, go ahead and make that case. He doesn't have better wide receivers. Nobody in the NFL comes close. Some might say Brock Purdy. Well, look at his receivers, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey. Okay, but the offensive line for the Niners is a problem. Hurts has the best situation of any quarterback in the NFL, and then that's before you even look at the fact that he's a top 3 defense to bail him out as well. Mike McDermott, played by Matt Damon in the movie Rounders, the cardinal expletive sin. Always leave yourself out. He talked about the guys who break the cardinal rule. Always leave yourself out. The Eagles have more outs than anybody. They can beat you on defense. They can beat you running the ball. They can beat you throwing the ball. Last night, they could beat you on special teams.
Yeah.
Jake Elliott, who was seen as a liability for this team, was making field goals from all over the place, which, by the way, real quick side note, the hell was going on with that field goal unit last night? I've never seen a field goal unit get flagged more in my life.
Right.
There were 3 different times they were flagged.
And he was still drilling them. Right? He was still drilling them. He had no problem. He was like
insane.
It's like he was out there playing a video game. Oh, no, 50 yards? No problem. I'm going to drill it, right? Like it was nothing. Think about this. As much as you said how the Eagles have all the outs, and I agree that they do. And it's funny, I thought that was only a scenario when I drove for FedEx. Like, I better leave myself an out so I don't box myself in this big truck. I thought that's only the narrative that I live by. Think about this real quick. Eagles offensive coordinators for Jaylen Hurts. 2020, Doug Peterson, the head coach. 2021 to 22, Shane Steichen, who's now in Indianapolis as the head coach. Brian Johnson in 2023 didn't go well. Kellen Moore in 2024, probably going to be the Saints head coach next. Who's he going to be next in 2025? But he's still finding ways to win. Like, no matter, we talk about it all the time in the National Football League. What do you have to have? Consistency, consistency, consistency. You don't want to have turnover. They have nothing but turnover at the offensive coordinator position, and yet Jaylen Hurts is still finding ways to win and dominate.
Yeah, and that speaks to going back to college, too, because it was a different coordinator at Oklahoma and then different coordinators at Alabama, and then you go back to high school. He's someone who is adaptable. He is a team guy. He has high character. So he's able to sit and go through these processes. He's able to work with people. He's able to build. But again, it does help when you are surrounded by such elite talent on both sides of the ball. So again, 2 things can be true. Jaylen Hurts can be a great quarterback. He can also have the greatest situation any quarterback could possibly ask for in the NFL today.
And that's what we talk about and we know we're going to talk about it a lot leading up to April, right? The end of April is what? The draft. And we're going to talk about where these quarterbacks are going to go. And are they going to be bust? Are they going to be franchise guys? A lot of it has to do with what, Joe? Where they go. The situation that they go to, what they're put under, how quickly they got to get on the field. Like everything that we're saying, again, going back to you saying 2 things can be true. It all goes back to placement, where you're at, and who you're surrounded by.
Especially from a GM position, and we'll get into Howie Roseman a little bit more later down the road, but look at how the Eagles have found a way to take a quarterback in Jaylen Hurts and then ask themselves over the years, what can we do to give this kid the best possible chance to succeed? Think about it for a second. And then go out to, like, the Chargers. And while they're getting better, the Chargers did everything they could to try to screw up Justin Herbert. The Bengals are going out of their way to screw up Joe Burrow. It's like, don't worry, Joe, you're fantastic, and we'll give you wide receivers, but the O-line's going to be questionable, so is the defense. Okay, great. You're going to waste those years. Detroit wasted decades with Matthew Stafford, and then immediately the Rams understood how to build around him. Yes, exactly.
And Calvin Johnson.
Well, they had Calvin Johnson, but I mean, like, that was it. Like, that was it. He had one player, and then for the rest of the time, either the coaching was a problem, the front office, the O-line, the running game, the defense. There were always problems. The Eagles have done a phenomenal job of addressing how they can put this kid in a position to be the best version of himself. Oh, how can you help a quarterback? Well, let's build up an O-line to give him protection. Let's give him some running backs who can take some of the pressure off. Let's give him some elite pass catchers. It's easier said than done because to have all that talent together, you got to work the salary cap in a very specific way. But they have recognized he's not perfect. Nobody is. How do you give the kid the best fighting chance? Howie Roseman's the answer to that.
No, he is. He is. They've done a heck of a job doing that. And you got to give a lot of credit to Jaylen Hurts as well for having the wherewithal to continue to build and grow at what he knows he needs to work on, right? He's not one of those guys that just settled for arriving in the league or I just made it, right? But going back to him being a coach's kid, he knows that that's not the standard. I mean, and it's funny, we kind of roll our eyes all the time when we hear the standard's just the standard, or make the main thing, because it's just, we say it as cliche-ish, but Jaylen Hurts lives it, and that's exactly what he's proven.
Yep. You can look around the rest of the NFL, and when these quarterbacks come out, I mean, again, if Brady doesn't get drafted by New England, he's never going to turn out to be Brady. That situation with Bill Belichick, it goes hand in hand. You look at Tua in Miami, just working with like Trevor Lawrence. Do we feel like he's been given a great opportunity in Jacksonville? Trent Baalke did a pretty lousy job building around him. Some of the coaching decisions, the Urban Meyer situation, like in Houston right now, they're kind of stressing out about this because you got a great player in Stroud, but Bobby Slowick wasn't a great play caller. And on top of that, that offensive line's a mess. Houston's a team to keep an eye on because they have a kid that can play the position. It is now on them to maximize that talent. The Indianapolis Colts with Anthony Richardson, are they maximizing that talent? You go to Minnesota, O'Connell just wins Coach of the Year. Why? Because he took a guy in Sam Darnold to a completely different stratosphere based on talent, coaching, and scheme.
The Eagles have not lost a game that Jaylen Hurts started and finished since Week 4 versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's telling you all you need to know about Jaylen Hurts. Jaylen Hurts has been the gold standard this season, and now he's a Super Bowl MVP. The gold standard is brought to you by Robinhood. Get a 3% IRA match, only $5 a month. Straight ahead.
Quick note. How about as dominant as the Eagles were this season, the struggles they had against the lousy NFC South? They got beat by the Falcons. They got beat by the Bucs. The Saints gave them a fight, and even Carolina had a chance to beat them late in Philadelphia. The NFC South, did we overlook them? Are they the best division in football? 888 say ESPN.
Good luck on that one. Straight ahead.
That's the no calls there.
There you go. Joe says the dynasty is dead. Is the GOAT debate too? Keep it locked on Joe and Q on ESPN Radio on Sirius XM Channel 80.
Welcome to the 2025 NFL Draft on ESPN Radio.
The NFL Draft is now underway.
Live from historic Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
With the first pick,
it all begins with round 1.
The Tennessee Titans select
Thursday, April 24th on ESPN Radio, ESPN, and on ABC.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
Why would we trade our best player?
Well, at least you got to watch him in person when he was here.
I named my only son after him.
So you'll always remember his name.
Yeah, but what do I do with this jersey?
Luckily, the company has a great return policy.
I wore it for 6 seasons.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
A great lawn is like a great sports team. It takes expertise and a little extra care to really stand out. That's where True Green comes in. They're the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour, so they know a thing or two about keeping grass looking like a fairway. It's more affordable than you think, and they'll even match any competitor's price. Plus, True Green backs it all up with a satisfaction guarantee. Head to TrueGreen.com today. Let the pros do the work while you sit back and enjoy the results.
Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
While we wouldn't say driving is a strong suit,
don't give me the bus to drive on a Monday.
We're still putting these Packers trades in the fast lane.
Did you yell America when you hit the accelerator?
So Myles Garrett says he wants out. Show of hands, who thinks Myles Garrett would upgrade the Packers pass rush? Chewy, are you raising your hand?
Doing a sign of the cross. Praying for Myles
It's time to pray, Gabe.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, weekday mornings from 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN and on the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube channel.
Looking for a totally rad flavor adventure, brochachos? Look no further than Surfer Boy Pizza as seen in Stranger Things. Each mouthwatering variety contains rich tomato sauce, delicious mozzarella cheese, and a gnarly range of toppings. The crust is crispy on the outside and airy on the inside. You'll think it was hand-tossed by the Surfer Boy Pizza dudes themselves. Look for it in the freezer aisle at your local store and buckle up your taste buds with Surfer Boy Pizza.
With your Saganiac Planning Marquette recap, I'm Will Summers. The Golden Eagles flocked to Omaha on Saturday for another Big East battle, this time against Creighton. While trailing for a majority of the first half, a Cam Jones buzzer beater gave Marquette life heading into the second half.
2-1, Cam Jones gets it off.
There it is.
Good. Oh, baby.
That's beautiful.
Good.
A strong comeback led by Jones as well as senior David Joplin gave the Golden Eagles the lead late in the game, but it would not be enough as Marquette fell 77-69. Marquette looks to get back in the win column at home against DePaul on Tuesday.
For more than 40 years, Network Health has been the trusted experts in health plans. Just like you, they're honest, hardworking, and grateful to call Wisconsin home. Whether you're seeking coverage for yourself, your family, or your employees, Network Health has you covered with a range of options, including individual and family marketplace plans, employer plans, and Medicare Advantage plans. Call Steve Llewellyn, Saganiac Planning, 262-783-6161. 262-783-6161. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service.
When that nonstop pain starts swelling up in your knees, your hips, your shoulders, or your back, that's when you know it's time to go to QC Kinetics. Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Brad Nortman. My experience with QC Kinetics has been unbelievable. When I went there myself, I was amazed at the state-of-the-art treatments and how they met me exactly where I was in diagnosing me and putting on a personal path toward recovery. When I hear all the testimonials of people going to QC Kinetics that finally get rid of their pain, it's unbelievable to hear that they are experiencing a new life after their treatments with QC Kinetics. Their ability to use cutting-edge regenerative treatments, including PRP, plasma, platelets, things that you only hear about theoretically, but when you can see with your own two eyes, you see why they are the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. If you're finally ready to get rid of that joint pain and start living the life that you want to in 2025, call QC Kinetics for your free consultation. 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474.
Whether it's breaking Packers news, breaking Bucks news, or breaking Brewers news, we are Milwaukee's place for the biggest sports stories right when they happen. 94.5 ESPN.
Joe Fortenbaugh and Q Myers. Is Joe and Q on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80, all speaker. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. Joe, you with us, man?
I am. I'm just now hearing you, and I'm looking at the screen. Can I get an update on the read, please, gentlemen? If you mind scrolling so I can see that. There we go. Finding the right employee for your company is tough. One wrong hire could be a major setback. You are not alone if you face this. A recent survey by Robert Half shows nearly half of all hiring managers readily admit to making a bad hire. Luckily for you, there's a solution. With Robert Half's specialized recruiter's experience combined with our award-winning AI, you can have the right skilled professional in place quickly. We understand what it takes to build winning teams because at Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
The Philadelphia Eagles congratulate them as Super Bowl 59 champions.
They did a better job than what we did. It's hard to face, but you do that, and then you get better.
It's going to hurt for a while. Hopefully we can come back next season and put up a better effort.
That's how it's standing on 96.5. The Fan as well. The Eagles just dominated the Kansas City Chiefs. It's Joe and Q here on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. And did you see, Joe, the tweets that Nick Foles, former Eagles quarterback, also Super Bowl champ, put out there talking about it's really cool that Tom Brady got to be there for the Eagles' 2 Super Bowl wins. He might be a good luck charm. Have a great night. That's kind of funny that he was able to punch that in there like that.
I love the fact that the 2 wins on behalf of the Philadelphia Eagles have come against the 2 greatest quarterbacks of all time. Like, I don't want, and this is, I'm sorry he's going to catch shrapnel here. I don't want my team's Super Bowl win to be over Rex Grossman. I'm sorry, I just don't. Like, that's not the Super Bowl I want to win. I want to beat Mahomes. I want to beat the Peyton Mannings of the world, the Tom Bradys of the world. Those are the guys you want to take out. Philadelphia's got a great legacy in that regard right now.
With that being said, we had a lot of conversation. I know I had a lot of conversation leading up to Super Bowl 59 and what happens if Patrick Mahomes wins. Is the GOAT conversation over? Is he now the GOAT? Which, oh, by the way, I feel like we get into these conversations so quickly, right? We don't let things play out. We all of a sudden kind of look for who's next, who's next, who's next. But since we're already there and we were there and we've been there for a while, is that conversation kind of put to the side for now? Is it done as far as Patrick Mahomes can't catch up to Tom Brady, can't take over that GOAT conversation. Where are you at now that you saw the way that Patrick Mahomes lost to the Eagles?
It's in the garbage. I mean, you can go dig through it down the line, right? Like, if you have this landfill out back, you can go dig through it in a couple years if you want to go searching for something. Like that guy who threw out that USB drive with like $80 million worth in Bitcoin on it, and he's petitioning the local dump to let him go searching through it. It's a great story if you haven't seen it. I'm not going to get into any more details here. Spoilers, they haven't allowed him to do it yet. But the point is, like, this was foolish from the beginning. And it was foolish last year going into the Niner game. I remember there was already the start about like, well, if he beats the Niners, it's going to be such a great start to his career. It's better than Brady. This shows us how flawed we are as thinkers, as human beings. Like, we might be smart in our own mind, but that's because we compare ourselves to like giraffes and cows. Like, hey, man, that cow can't build a rocket. I can build a rocket. That's great. That's great that humanity can do more than cows and dogs and tigers and elephants, but really, we're not as smart as we sometimes think we are. So we have these dumb conversations like, well, if Mahomes wins this